I'm great tonight, brother. Happy
What's up, Ross?
Juneteenth for how you doing, brothers? Happy Juneteenth for you.
Indeed.
Same to you, sis.
Oh, let me see. Let me give some quick shout outs. BTP Riri is in the building. Shout out to our sister BTP Riri. Peace, sis. Box Avoided. I'll read this real quick. Let me pull this one up. Said, it's an ethnocide acting like we are not a unique people. We are not African, especially on Juneteenth when we know some sold us. I'm proud to be freedmen, Black American. That's what I'm talking about, right? It's like we got, Ali said we got kicked off the continent. And that's
Yeah.
right?
I say we are the descendants of the people who were kicked out of Africa
That's right.
by other people working in conjunction with European slavers.
That's right. That's right. So this pan-African thing that they're talking about, it reeks of nonsensicalness. I think I just made that up. Nonsensicalness. I have to look that one up. So 504 is in the building. Sister Kelly Pryor was good, sis. Brother Vince Jefferson is plugged in. Michael Jordan, aka BTP Prime, is in the building. KT said we have to take control of the narrative, plan our own festivities. That is what we're trying to do. That is what we're trying to do. And we're going to do that. Let me tell y'all, last year, if you would have did a Google search for Juneteenth, a whole bunch of red, black, and green. I know I did it last year. This year, however, a lot of the Freedmen Juneteenth flags pop up, a lot of them in the Google image search. It's going to take some time. We're going to have to roll into this thing. Lama Bey said, Islam BTP teach. Peace, peace, brother. Gary Johnson said, peace to peace to BTP and the Freedmen. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Jesus Christ, the 13th disciple, and Quana Vey. What's going on, Phil? All right, so where should we start this thing? I don't know. Should we start with the female, the Pan-African female from Jamaica? And
You can. I mean, it's as good a place as any.
all right, let's start there. Let's start with this person who to me came out of nowhere. Chase Sade. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. And she added us earlier, right? Because I
Do
mean,
you
That's
have a
Chez Sade.
huh?
Chez Sade. In French, it's Chez Sade. And
Chez
Spanish,
Sade.
Sade. Oui.
So she got a French Jamaican name. Okay, cool. All right. What you was saying,
maybe
Ali?
she's Haitian. Maybe she's
And
Haitian.
I think she said she was Jamaican. I don't know. I don't want to guess, but I know that she's not a freedman. This she has made clear on several of occasions. She tried to, do battle with me and Ali on Twitter. Easily shut her
Easily.
down.
I cleaned her up so many times, man. Easy, light work,
Yeah,
nothing to
light
it.
work.
And I'm never disrespectful to her. Just by the way,
No,
I
no.
just tune her up real nice,
That's it.
Is she coming on later?
I would love. She's not going to come on. These people are cowards, man. I can't call a woman a coward if they talk a bunch of junk and then don't want to defend their position, right? That's why we got our sister
Mm.
Roz on right now. Hopefully, she may want to jump on
I
the
would
link and
love
defend.
to dialogue with her.
Yes, But other than that, she's a coward. Okay, just like Omar Wale is a coward. He didn't want to debate me, but he wanted to come on this platform and try to do his fake pseudo intellectual sounding nonsense. We have to break. What was it? We have to break
I don't know. It wasn't. It
some
was nothing.
nonsense.
It was
Some
nothing.
nonsense. But he cites this Omar Wale guy, this pseudo intellectual, in this rant that she posted. And I want you all to pay attention to this because what we are witnessing is is enemies to our cause and enemies to our plight here as freedmen in an attempt to replace us.
Replace and erase. Like that's the truth of the matter. They want to erase our plight and they want to cover it up with this whole Pan African paint.
That's right. And I heard I was scrolling through Twitter today, and I seen one of the sisters we had on our platform before, and she had shared this live stream, and I clicked on it. The name of this guy's channel is pan-africanism or pan-africanist or
Strikes back.
strikes back. And he had some guys. See, the dude sounded like a European, a white guy, on there saying, really, he was talking about black crime and all of these different things. And he said, really, the black tethers should replace the black Americans. And the host was agreeing with this stuff. I'm like, what am I listening to? What in the world am I listening to? See, we're not gonna let nobody, I don't care who you are, we're not letting nobody come and trample on our culture and our history for nothing at all. So, I just wanted to point that out, and we're gonna get to like some of the tweets. Greg Carr, the usual suspects. But let's read this from Chez Sade. She said, over this past weekend, I had the opportunity to enjoy some Juneteenth festivities. Now, I have to ask the question, would you have enjoyed these festivities if you were still in your own country? I doubt it. I doubt it. One thing that I noticed is that in almost every single circumstance, the RBG flag was used as opposed to the American flag or even Ben Haith's newer Juneteenth flag. What this tells me is that black folks outside of digital spaces identify with RBG as a cultural symbol, and that the movements promoted by Be the Power, and she names two other YouTubers, etc., do not have much reach outside of social media.
Can you pause for a second? No,
Yeah,
no, go
sure.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no,
Continue.
no, go ahead. We could break it down as we go along. Go ahead, bro.
The other night I mentioned culture, right? These people again, it's always these folks from outside. Their position is, and it's very obvious that you lack culture, and so
Mm-hmm.
therefore this RBG thing is more cultural than the actual Juneteenth flag that Ben Hayes made that was specific to the American plight. This RBG flag is not specific to Black Americans. According to him, this is the colors for black people worldwide. It's some global stuff according to them, right? African and global and all of this kind of stuff. But the fact remains, RBG as a cultural symbol. She's saying that the people identify with that over Ben Hayes' Juneteenth flag, and it always boils down to culture because they really believe these foreign blacks, they really believe that black Americans really don't have any culture and they have to be the ones to provide it in some form or fashion. That was Garvey's position, even when he talked about the flag itself and how he referenced the racist song where they talk about every nation has every race has a flag but the coon. Number one, the United States flag is not a flag of any race. This is how you know these people were lying. It's a national flag. It's not the flag of any race. Number one. Number two, races don't have flags. This is bullshit, right? There's no race that has a flag. Every nation has flags. Corporations have flags. You know what I'm saying? Like this is bullshit. But then he says, then they said, except the coon, as if coon is an actual race. But see, Garvey agreed with all of that and said, yeah, all of that is true. But now that I, the Jamaican, came to these black Americans who don't have nothing and don't know nothing, this is no longer a problem because the coon race now has a flag and it's the RBG flag. This is foolishness. I know people don't like this. They see it that way, but that's the way I see it.
Indeed. And Roz, did you want to speak to any of that before we moved on?
Yeah, I'm wondering where she's getting this information because RBG is something that was marketed and promoted as propaganda. We never voted and said this is going to be the flag for our people. And for the Juneteenth flag, and I'm not saying it was that was specifically for the people who were enslaved in the United States and released from chattel slavery as far as being slaves. So we're talking about something that was marketed to otherize us. That's to take us away from the United States. Let me ask this one question. I want everybody to think about it because I was posing it all day yesterday. Have you ever heard of Texas, United States of America, Africa? I mean, how do we have
Nope.
a Texas state that is all of a sudden attached to Africa? Because that's when the people of Texas found out and knew, and they were actually released from bondage was in June 19th of 1865. We the rest of the country knew about the release during the Emancipation Proclamation of January 1st of 1863. So how did Texas get picked up and replaced over into Africa? And can if somebody can tell me where that is on the map, I mean, I owe you a win a chicken dinner. But until that time comes up, what are we talking about when we're talking about accepted as RBG? Especially once we know that R is not about us, it's not about our blood. Green is for the Irish. I'm not understanding where people, it's the miseducation of our people that is ridiculous. And then find the fact that this is not even a person that is of our lineage. So I'm tired of people who are not of our lineage trying to have this conversation and speak for us. We need to put them in the same place we put little kids in the little baby seat in the back. Don't
That's
let
right.
them
Go
drive. You don't let them speak for us. That's what I
go
have
sit
to
at
say.
the kid. Go sit at the kitty table.
Sit
Go
at the
sit at
kitty
the kitty.
table and eat the nuggets because you can't sit here and eat the grown up food.
Eat the
Kitty
eat
table.
the dino shaped chicken nuggets. All right, let's this is short. We're gonna read through it and then we'll talk about it. So historically, it has always been pan-Africanists and cultural nationalists that have preserved black holidays and traditions. That is a lie. It's just an absolute lie. Omawale Africa, this is the guy that came on and said we need to break America. That's what he said. Shout out to our brother Lafayette Ward. He said we need to break America. Every time I asked him, how do we break America? He tried to dance around the question and start talking about a bunch of other nonsense because he's just a nonsensical person. That's all. But she cites him. Omawale Africa speaks extensively about this in regards to Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, Junkano, and many more of our traditions. Now, I think it was a politician, Ali, that made a tweet that says something to the effect of Juneteenth is not Kwanzaa in the summertime or something like that. And what this
That's right.
is
Yeah.
people realize that our narrative is being snatched from us. Red, the RBG flag, that it's an organizational banner. It's the flag of no nation. It's not a flag of liberation because it has never liberated black people here in the United States of America.
Come on.
Freedmen fighting on the front lines of the Civil
Oh
War liberated us,
God,
waving that
man.
American flag. Y'all
Come
see
on,
my
man.
background? Oh, hold on. Let me hold on.
Come
Let me just pull my screen up real quick. Yeah, y'all see that? Y'all see that? That's Freedmen back there fighting, raising
Come
that
on,
flag. It
man.
wasn't no Garveyites or no RBG people over here.
Look on the other side of you, to
Oh
the
yeah,
right of to
yeah.
the right of you. They go that
You,
Confederate flag.
you see, we going to we going to defeat. I'm trying to point the right way. We trying to defeat that Confederate flag right there.
Come
That's what
on.
we going to clash with. That's white supremacy right there. My people fighting.
We did
Garvey
that.
ain't raised no armies over here.
Our
That
people
red,
did that.
our people did that. RBG, red, black, and green ain't raised no armies over here.
And let me say this real quick, cause this dude named Dwayne Chung or whatever his name is, right? He claims to be some kind of an Omawali as well, right? But his name is Dwayne Chung, Dwayne Wong or something. He said Martin Delaney and Harry Tubman recruited soldiers for a regiment of black soldiers called the Corps d'Afrique. Some abolitionists of that era did, in fact, identify with Africa and saw their struggle as part of a larger global struggle. Well, here's the problem with that misrepresentation of
Right.
a
Come on.
historical fact. That particular corps of soldiers was an American
That's
corps of
right.
soldiers that fought for the American United States Army
That's right.
under the American flag
That's
for
right.
their liberation inside of the United States of
And
America.
took an oath
That's
to an
right.
American Constitution.
That's
That's
right.
right.
And that name, Corps d'Afrique, was a name that was designated to them by the white major general who was overseeing that particular regiment.
Talk to him.
That's not.
It's,
It's a French designation, and it was given to them by the white major general by the name of Banks. You could look this stuff up. So that's a gross misrepresentation of the historical facts. That's not no Pan African thing. That's something where these Europeans was
Right.
calling these people Africans.
that's right.
Right.
Period.
That's right.
And we already talked about the the use of the term African American in Africa and us being called African and the African Lodge and what they call those societies in Boston, New York, and I think Massachusetts, those African societies. They weren't saying that, based upon any pan African concept that we know today, but it was just basically racial terms. But those people were fully aware and represented the United States of America and knew that they were fighting for their rights and citizenship within the United States of America. And, when you start talking about Martin Delaney, we know that Martin Delaney, I think he had like a trip or something to Africa to
Yeah,
basically
Liberia.
explore repatriation. So it's not that our people, or some of our people, I should say, who were freedmen, didn't have concepts of repatriation back to Africa. We're not saying that. But basically, what we're saying is that their ideas and the concept of repatriation was not an anti-American thing. It Those who chose to do that, and those who had those ideas, it was based solely on the fact of the racial terrorism and violence that was going on at the time. So, I mean, it's just a logical conclusion for them at that time, or some of them who possibly chose repatriation. And in many aspects of things, a lot of repatriation in some concepts was failures.
That's
And
right.
even when you go back to Liberia, a place that I'll have to say I have respect for, but at the same time, the Liberian experiment was almost a failure because I hate to say it, the freedmen or freedmen, whatever terminology you wanted to use, went over there and they clashed with the native Africans that was there and end up ruling over those people that it ended up in bloody civil wars that lasted for years and years and years with different coups. What do they call the Liberian American? They call
Americo Liberian. Americo.
Americo Liberians with the natives. The natives took over, chopped them up, vice versa, so on. So it was a lot of things that a lot of repatriation was for all intents and purposes, not successful.
Let me read this, Grim, so I could get her page off my screen, and then we
Okay.
could just pick up the finish the
Sir,
conversation.
yes, sir.
All right. She said, to me, the whole conversation over Juneteenth colors is silly because while black people argue back and forth online over this, non-people are building institutions and businesses to sell us products and profit off of our own culture. This is not your culture, Shay Sade. This is
Come
not
on.
your culture. This is not your culture. And it's people like you who are trying to build institutions and businesses to sell products to profit off of freedmen culture. That's what you're doing with this YouTube channel. Well, like I've been
Come on, man.
peeping. You think you slick. She says, abandoning our true history and origins for the sake of assimilation under the guise like this. Let me start again with that. Abandoning our true history. So freedmen history is somehow fake. Our history
Wow.
here in the United States, this is an immigrant,
Wow.
or what some people in the community call a tether, coming over here telling us that our history is somehow fake, abandoning our true history and origins for the sake of assimilation under the guise of cultural gatekeeping will ultimately lead to the disintegration of the black community. That's so funny.
Jesus, man.
For this reason, maintaining our authentic cultural traditions, she
Authentic
keeps saying our.
and
Yeah,
lean on the word authentic.
that's right,
because
because
that's
they
important.
feel we don't have no culture. So their culture, the one that they're trying to plug into our American experience, is somehow authentic, and all that we've created, the way she and he from all over the world dresses, the slang that most of the world uses, the music that has become the soundtrack to most modern movies over the past 30 to 40 years come from freedmen culture. But anyway, she says, for this reason, maintaining our authentic cultural traditions are a quintessential element of engaging in the type of commerce and development that is necessary to keep our community afloat. And she waves up these flags, Juneteenth, the day of freedom. None of this stuff, of course, promoting her page, but none of this Red, black, and green was nowhere in the breaking of the chains of our people.
No, it
Our
Come
wasn't.
on,
liberation
man.
Can I
never
say
came
something
from.
real
Go
quick?
ahead, sis.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the thing too. I see a huge pronoun trouble with people that come over and that are tethers that are not of our lineage. They come over and they turn what we're talking about, our history, into their history. They use slick things like us, we, our. These are all pronoun troubles. And we have to beat it back because I can't go to Jamaica or to Haiti or anywhere else and start saying we, us, our when it comes down to getting the benefits from there. And also in dealing with a lot of the, yeah, they're cosplaying us. And we got to be able to call them out. Like I heard it today when somebody knocked on my door and they were running for office and they were not of our lineage. I knew because of the last name. It was a Nigerian name, and she was the first, second generation Nigerian. And they start using words like our, we, us. And I said, no, I'm talking about people. And I pointed out to my flag that was waving in the breeze. And I'm saying people who descended from U.S. chattel slaves. That's who I'm talking about. So when you're talking about that, you're not talking, you can't include yourself because you didn't come from that. And I know you didn't. So I'm saying our community, you want me to put you as my representative, and you can't include the we, us, our. And I'm saying this as a lesson for everybody who's in earshot listening. We cannot allow people who are not us to cosplay us. And that's what she was doing in here. And she's going to come over here from another country, not being from the lineage, and going to tell us what we can and cannot do. That's not
Fact.
happening. We can't allow that. And that's what
And
she's
that's a fact.
attempting to do.
And that is a fact. And you know, there was some things that she said, right? There's this sentiment among pan-africanists that if we support our country, that somehow we are like sellouts or slaves suffering from Stockholm syndrome. I kept saying that a lot over the past 2 days. What you was gonna say, Ali?
Well,
Yeah, guys,
well,
says Ross.
let me ask you this: what happens when they support their country? And what is supporting your country when you leave that country that you were born
Come
in
on,
Talk
man.
to
and
him.
go to a whole different nation, like England? You come to the U.S. You just leave and forget all ties. And matter of fact, CARICOM knows what to do with you. They don't even give you any kind of support if you leave the island nation of whatever. So they basically broke ties and broke everything with you from CARICOM. So what do they mean by supporting your own country? Now that they're here, they're citizens, they're going to go to the front of the line. And it would behoove us not to, what would you do if you were standing in a line to be able to get on a ride and you've been standing out there for 5 hours or 10 hours or whatever, and somebody just got all over here and they're trying to break the line? What would you do? Would you allow them to get the benefits before you get them, or would you stop them? So that's
That's
what
right.
I'm putting out to family. We gotta be able to be able to stop these people from breaking line and getting ahead of us, because they're really looking down their nose at us and saying, huh, you aren't
Facts.
worthy of whatever. So that's what that is. It's an arrogant, ignorant way of
Right.
looking at us. And we
That's
got
a
to make
fact.
these people respect us by telling them, no, you're not going to get in line in front of us. The only way
That's
they
right.
stiff that, we got too many people that are saying they're sitting there and they are being coons, and they're allowing these people to break line and get in front of them and say, hey, we all black, we all the same thing. We got to be those people to stand up and say, nah, you're not going to get in line in front of me. And they might get mad, but they're going to give you your respect in the process. So that's who we have to be, family.
That's right. Yeah,
Hey,
go ahead,
I just
Gordon.
want to, yes, sir. And man, I appreciate y'all letting me on, but I just want to speak to some things. And it may be just a little bit of scatter because I feel a certain way about everything that's going on in regards to that, because like I think the person that you were referencing um uh uh earlier, talking about these different colors of the red, gold, and green, and everybody, either flying the red, gold, and green colors or banner for
Red,
Juneteenth,
black, and green. But some
and
of them, yeah,
red,
some
black,
of them
and
did
green.
have
They
the red, gold,
basically,
and green.
yeah, man, I've been in Walmart, bro. They got Juneteenth red, gold, and green shirts everywhere for
Crazy,
Juneteenth. But I'm
crazy.
talking about both flags, the red, gold, and green, and the red, black, and green banner, and why these things are being shown at these Juneteenth events. The first thing that I wanted to point out is that, number one, the Juneteenth holiday is old, but it's new in regards to its recognition by the federal government. It was just voted in as a federal holiday in 2021. And the point that I'm really getting at is that it's a new holiday. Some people never celebrated it before, prior to this year. So here's the thing with the colors. People don't know. So basically, what those people have done, and the commercializers and stuff, they know that a lot of our people have the affinity to display red, gold, and green, colors that came into our culture, via people who honor the Rastafari traditions and things of that nature. People who honor, Emperor Haile Selassie and the Ethiopian Empire and things of that nature, and also the nation of Ghana, who also adopted those colors from the Ethiopians for their flag, being inspired by the Ethiopian resistance. So basically, those colors, particularly the red, gold, and green, yes, they are pride colors, but they are pride colors for people who remained on the continent of Africa, who are inspired by the struggles of those things that happened over there on their continent. And we already know about the red, black, and green, so they superimpose these colors on American Freedmen holiday, when all of those freedmen who invented and I'm pretty sure you're going to show the pictures if you hadn't already. I was a little bit late. Please excuse me. But basically, the original freedmen who instituted the Juneteenth holiday used the colors of red, white, and blue. And in many of their parades, in many of they had one 1900 celebration with this band, and I'm pretty sure y'all go pull it up because I can't pull it up on my part right now. But the band was in front of the American flag. No red, black, and green or red, gold, and green was present. And now we're not being what they call it. We're not being prejudicial against those people. We're not being cool. We're not being shines and all of those negative terminologies. But the freedmen struggle over here was a freedman struggle for inclusion in the American system. You follow what I'm saying? And to claim that their true status and nationality as Americans, that was their struggle. Their struggle wasn't necessarily a universal pan-Africanist struggle. When men became Buffalo Soldiers, they didn't become Buffalo Soldiers to embrace a pan-Africanist idea. They became soldiers.
Hey, Grim, they would have been called wildebeest soldiers had they embraced the Pan-African
Why you do that, bro?
The wildebeest soldiers, dreadlock, rastas.
Right. And that's the whole thing. Like, those men became Buffalo Soldiers to prove their worth. to prove their bravery or whatever, and to make something of themselves and account for something within an American society. And that's basically, and just to show, like Ali pointed it out the other day, and we were all laughing about it earlier. You know, Ali said, man, no disrespect to Bob Marley, but there was no Buffalo Soldiers, dreadlock rosters. Those men, those men were American freedmen. I don't even think they have Buffalo in Jamaica. Those men were American freedmen. No dreadlocks, and I'm not saying nothing wrong with locks, but those men were military men. They were soldiers. So they were clean cut, clean shaven, mustache at the most, maybe bearded after they retired or whatever, or that. But for the most part, short cut crop hair, combat efficient haircuts as a Buffalo soldiers. You follow what I'm saying? So, a lot of things are being misplaced here, and that's the point that we are making. It's a misplacement of the Freedmen culture. So when they show those colors of red, black, and green, red, gold, and green, and or a combination of thereof, people are doing that. The masses, I'm going to say, are doing that out of ignorance. Now, these Greg Carrs and these other pan-africanists, include everybody in reparations organizations, those people are doing that maliciously. And like y'all pointed out, a lot of this stuff is retribution, so to speak, for the successes of the things that the brothers and the sisters are doing in California. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna stand down. Greg Carr responded to me when I tweeted his tweet, and he said, no matter what you do, your master will never accept you.
Let's get into that. Let's get into that. Let's get in. Let's run through that tweet. The picture that I had up prior was one of the earliest Juneteenth pictures, and it showed some freedmen men with several instruments: banjo, guitar, flute, and violin, showing that I'm hearing some feedback from somewhere. 1 2 1 2. All right, and the American flag in the background, right? Like, it's no RBG. We're not gonna let a person from Jamaica with a white French name tell us or dictate to us anything that has to go on with our people under the guise of some global pan-Africanist. Change your name at least. But anyway, let's get the causes tweet. Let's full screen this just in case everybody. Okay, so Greg Carr put this tweet out. Black woman vice president dressed in African garb. He's stressing that. Greg Carr is the ops. We have political opposition, political opponents. Greg Carr is the ops, fam. It's just as simple as that. He, Roland, and the rest of the pan-Africanists that support this crap. And he says, we are
the
not.
pronoun.
That's
Notice
right.
the pronoun.
That's right. That's right. That's right. He said, we are not, quote unquote, descendants of slaves or slavery. We are not foundational to anything but our common determination to live and work together free of oppression, global consciousness and solidarity, and local organized. Let's before we get to what he responded to Grimm, I think we should break this down. Black woman, vice president, dressed in African fabric, right? And we could pull up the fabric in a few. We're going to pull up where this stuff, Ali got some stuff to share on that as well. So when he says we are not descendants of slaves or slavery, well, we know that he's taking a shot at the hashtag organization. He said when we are not foundational to anything but our common determination, he's taking a shot at the people who identify as FBA. Notice they don't never put Freedmen in the title because it's something that you can't come at, because Freedmen is not a group. It's a legal status in this country, period. It's on the books. Can't be denied. Anyway, he says, we are not foundational to anything but our common determination to live and work together, free of oppression. Now, remember, I pulled up the
Wow,
last live
that's
stream
terrible.
several live streams ago where A. Philip Randolph had to shoot proverbial darts at the West Indians in New York City in his day because they didn't want to become citizens. They came over here to get their paycheck. They complained about oppression, but they didn't want to join with the American Negro, the freedmen, so that we could gain political power and clout. That was the word that our great esteemed freedman ancestor A. Philip Randolph uses. He says global consciousness and solidarity and local organized action. Global consciousness. There's no global consciousness in Africa. Africa is not on one accord. Pan-Africanism is a purely a fantastic Wakandan Americanized thought. But we're going to get back to this because I want everybody to touch on this. I just want to go to the Grimm put, this is how freedmen women dressed. No prints here, freedmen culture. And we got to get back to that in many ways. And we will. We will. That's this resurrection of this freedman culture has many elements to it besides just its name. And we're going to get back to a lot of things over the next couple of years. And you know, we're in the initial phases of resurrecting this thing. But let's look at what Greg Carr's response was. Your master isn't going to love you, no matter how much you beg. And of course, I put, got him. Got him. And my brother Grimm responded, I have no master. I am of the feeling of Frederick Douglass about this, and he had no master. It's not about feelings, it's about the truth. The master of your brothers in Africa will never love them. That's why they are manipulated by international corpse and corruption. Well, it was Africans
Facts.
that sold us into slavery. They kicked us off the continent. So what is this what is this global consciousness and solidarity that this guy's talking about? It's never existed. It didn't exist in Garvey's day because our people here, the freedmen, realized that Garvey was a cancer that was starting to metastasize here in the United States, and they wanted to cut this cancer out. And unfortunately, it has metastasized, and it's evinced by red, black, and green flags being flown on a day that's supposed to be honoring our citizenship here and the things that we've overcome in this country under the American colors of red, white, and blue. None of these people would dare come on and have the debate. I challenge a couple of these pan-Africanist guys that got 12, 13, 20,000 followers on Twitter. They just want to, do the Twitter stuff. So your master isn't going to love you no matter how much you beg. What does that mean? Y'all, if y'all want to go to the initial comment and start breaking it down, Sister Roz, let's start with Sister Roz, Ali, Grimm. Let me just read this one more time. Black women vice president dressed in African fabric. We are not descendants of slaves or slavery. We are not foundational to anything but our common determination to live and work together free of oppression, global consciousness and solidarity, and local organized action. Sister Roz, what are your thoughts on these?
All right, Black woman vice president. Nobody. What are we calling black nowadays? East Indian is black. I mean, she's Brahmin. You haven't proved to me her father is Jamaican, but that's a nationality. That's not anything. What is Kamala?
No, this sister is
vice president. What do you talk about? Vice president of what?
Oh, my bad. No,
Vice
no.
president. She's the vice president of Colombia.
Colombia.
Oh yeah, Colombia. That's right.
Okay,
that wasn't.
So
that's not.
Got you. Okay.
She's Colombian. So, she's not even.
Okay, so she's. Yeah. What does that have to do with us? What does that have to do with us?
She's wearing African print.
And
That's
she's
that.
wearing an African print. Okay, you can dress anything up in an African print. Does that make them African? I mean, that doesn't. You can put. I've seen white women from Europe wearing African prints. Now all of a sudden, are they African? The people just do silly things
Right.
and think that just because you throw on the just because you throw on the uniform, I could throw on the uniform for a policeman. Can I start running around and arresting people? It doesn't make sense just because you're wearing the uniform of that makes you that thing. Because people will start wearing prints of whatever, and these people take a whole lot of pride in symbolic gestures. Like Greg Carr is not a freedman. He's just the president of an HBCU, which is Howard University. And I really don't respect Howard like it had been respected in the past once you start knowing the intricacies thereof. Howard University does not look out for freedmen as it was designed initially to do, as it does people who are international. And I mean, look at they got all kinds of nasty, disgusting black mold behind the pictures, and they just want kids up in there so they can get their money. But it's like you're living in a
Wow.
disgusting environment. You're living in a third world type environment. They just had protests every other year. They have protests from the students for disgusting living conditions. So I don't want to hear anything from somebody who's not a freedman, who's just getting the money of these people because they think that they're actually going to a quality school, a quality college, and he's talking about we're a global consciousness or whatever the case may be. He's not even looking at the origins of the institution that he's the president of, and that's Freedman. It's not
Hey,
has
That's right.
nothing to do with international. It was Freedman.
so so wait a minute. Greg Carr is an immigrant?
Yeah, he's from the Caribbean.
Oh,
I didn't even
yo, I never knew that,
know.
Roz. I'm thinking this is just some, older black head from, from older generation that's just, on that. It makes sense now. God damn, yo, that's crazy. I'm thinking we just talking to, one of our older, people in our group that just latched onto that stuff like, Dr. John Henry Clark or something.
Hmm.
Ah. So he says that we're not foundational to anything. Well, maybe you and your people from wherever you are in the Caribbean aren't foundational to anything. I'll give you that, right? You speak for yourself, basically. But we know that our people are foundational to this body politic called the United States of America. For jokers like him who have never truly read the Dred Scott case, in the dissenting opinion of Justice Curtis, he actually lays out the facts of history and law with regard to us being foundational to this thing called the United States of America. So you're absolutely wrong about that. You are obviously talking about you and your immigrant or Caribbean people not being foundational to anything. That's your business, B. That don't put that on. See, like somebody's like Grim said, they're trying to superimpose all of their
look, look,
stuff on us. Go ahead.
look at what Sister Cynthia Blaine said, right? Speaking to that authentic piece that we spotted earlier. Carr told us we have no foundation.
Well, he's wrong. He's wrong. How first of all, how is somebody who's always arguing Africa as the mother of civilization, the cradle of civilization, going to tell somebody that they have no foundation? That sounds like a contradictory, two contradictory points of view. Either we have foundation or we don't. And the fact of the matter is, we are foundational to the United States of America, just like I laid out. And if he doesn't believe it, all he has to do is go and read the Dred Scott case for himself. Actually read it and not just what Justice Taney had to say. which they all these pan-africans like running with everything that the white supremacists said, because to them that's gospel, and it really helps to undergird all of the emotional push for the opposing black power view that they want to push. You see what I'm saying? So he's absolutely wrong about that. And also what I did was respond to his piece where he's talking about African print with a New York Times article of my own, where the article is actually talking about the fact that the prints of that they're calling African prints. These prints are not African at all. They actually are prints that are created and imported from out of Europe. Um, Dutch in particular, but it was Dutch and Britain and France, and that stuff came from there. I think there was some stuff that came from Indonesia, etc. And so somebody, as a matter of fact, is really interesting. Somebody just commented and said in response to my New York Times article entitled "Africa's Fabric is Dutch." This person named Flawless Empress says, "Ugh. Yes, the wax is Dutch, but don't be dense and act like the prints slash fabric style aren't African, and as if certain prints aren't associated or imported to certain African ethnic groups and tribes. Yeah, they're imported. They're imported based on their likes, based on the fact that these Europeans are showing them the different things that they created, and the ones that they like the most is the ones that they import into their own to their own countries and tribes. But check this out. I have a source, if you don't mind, I want to share it. It's called, hold on one second. It's an article from this site called, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. All right, can you see the article?
Oh yeah, it's up.
Modern Ghana, right? Modern Ghana, and it's a article written by Jean Gasho. Why African print should not be worn as the pride of African dressing. Right, I'm gonna just go to, it's a specific piece right here. The African wax prints have nothing, nothing to do with Africa or the history and heritage of the continent. The fabrics are neither made in Africa nor are they designed in Africa. They were not even originally designed for Africans. They are
Mm.
actually European made textiles which Africans have adopted as their own. This is coming out of Ghana. All of these people love Ghana. Ghana is the place of home. And we're gonna what do you call it?
Bar.
The return home, the home of the return, and all this. Man, all of this stuff, man, come from Europeans. Europeans. That's the actual fact. And this is an article coming straight out of Ghana. So all that bogus stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share this with this Joker so she can read it, because I told her y'all people don't read, right? And you don't read for understanding, that's for sure. You definitely don't read for understanding. You're confirmation bias because you're Pan Africans and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just getting ready to hit this Joker with this right now.
Eh, mhm.
But you
And I
know,
want
but
to.
that's funny that the actual clothing and the prints and designs are basically like the Europeans cosplaying in their mind what a Wakanda would look like. And people are sitting there and loving this and buying it up, thinking it's authentic African print and African. Oh, we're supporting our brothers and sisters in Africa. No, you're not. You're supporting Indonesia. You're supporting the Dutch. You're getting played for your money once again. So now, remember, I said we will need to look at those pronouns. Now, the we from Greg Carr makes more sense. Now that he's saying, talking about your masters, whose master is your master when you're sitting there cosplaying something that is putting money into the hands of the Dutch and the Indonesian, Greg Carr? Who is your master?
Now check
Right.
this real
And
quick. Wait,
go ahead,
I'm
bro.
gonna come to you real quick, Grim. Let me just pull this one thing up. I want to pull this one thing up. I'm not even going to stay on it that long. Check this out, right? We're going to African print, but check this out, fam. Y'all see that? Look at those patterns there. Now, these are Underground Railroad quilts that were used as codes during the Underground Railroad. So what they would maps, right? My mother made these. You know why she made them? Because her mother made them. And her mother, my great grandma, it was a passed down tradition. My mother got like 3 of these joints. They take so damn long to make, but she got like 3 of them. And they are very, very heavy quilts that she made. Like, if we're gonna start rocking patterns, let's rock the patterns of our freedmen ancestors. Let me put this in the lab, Brother Grimm.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak on I wanted to speak on the thing where he said that, you know, you'll never, because I don't want to lose sight of this, right? He said, you know, your masters would never love you, right? So my whole thing is like, well, who is your master? If I have a master, then you have a master. You follow what I'm saying? And I want to point that out. And I basically really, really want people to understand that these people are 100% anti-government, right? And anti-American. I just wanted to drive that home, yo. That's what these people are when they actually make these comments. Because me asserting my citizenship in the United States of America and me delineating the American freedmen culture to him in his mind and what he wants to project to me is that just because I honor those things, just because I honor grandma and mama and pawpaw and Uncle Buck, like Logic would say, just because, you know, I honor those people and I honor ancestors before that. And, you know, I was sharing my stuff with y'all about my ancestry that I was able to trace back to at least 1798. You know, I'm one of the lucky ones. But I'm just saying all that to say that those things that Greg Carr and all of those people honor, that's fine for them. But in the historical context, I won't bring this home. I don't want to be too long. In a historical context, when those first African brothers and sisters, a lot of who were sold by black mercenaries, black chieftains, and warriors, and sold for rum, sold for guns and weapons, so they can fight their other African brothers and sisters of other tribes, right?
Talk to them.
When those people were put on the ships, right? From people caught from the interior of the continent, people taken off the western shores of Africa, because I don't care how many unks you wear, none of us come from ancient Egypt like that. These people were taken from the interior, from the Western Sudan, the West African nations. But when those people were put on those ships, that whole thing that they're trying to make us go back to, that was garbled up into a big pile of mixed tribes, right? So those people came here and were broken from those cultures, right? All amalgamated in together. Now, did we bring some Africanisms over here? We've talked about that plenty times on this show. And I know I have. We took those Africanisms, right? The thing that became what they try to call black and things of that nature. And those things came with a new culture, a new concept. So we built upon the old, but the old was destroyed for the freedmen. And the freedmen built something more better. We built something greater than what they could even conceive. That's why everything that the freedmen do today is emulated by every black group and Asian group on the planet Earth. Because we were molded in the fire of slavery to become a whole new culture. So what Greg Carr has is a problem appreciating that, like a lot of our people do, and like Ali always talk about. Basically, people have an inferiority complex, so we try to create this connection to the continent that really don't exist. The whole don't there is no reciprocity in a lot of that pan-Africanist talk. Like Naheem said, that's an American invention. I have members of my family who married into Nigerian families, but they're not accepted like that. We went to a Nigerian associating. This is before I came into this knowledge, but man, we went to a Nigerian association meeting, man, and those people treated us like dirt. You know, they lucky I ain't go off in that son of a gun, because I was damn near about to. So this is the cultural distinctions between the two groups, both of them called black, but there is no delineation. So we have a powerful, I'm gonna go back to this. So we have a powerful culture that we basically formed here. And what those Pan-Africanists want to do, they want to forego Motown. They want to forego the Chicago struggles, the struggles of the brothers and the sisters in the South, the Jim Crowism, the rice and the okra. They want to forego that stuff for food. You understand? And we not making fun of them. We just telling the truth that we are our own self-contained culture that people that what y'all calling the tethers are trying to destroy and replace. And they are mad at us because we see it, yo. So, but I want these people are anti-American. That's why that man made reference to me pleasing the master. So me taking my place in the affairs of men is me begging for the master, but yet he is an official in a college that is recognized by the government in which we live. So he has to follow behind those things. And this the last thing I'm gonna say about them colors, right? In the colors that when those last group of American freedmen on June 19th, 1865 were emancipated from slavery. Listen, y'all, when those people were emancipated, there was no African guerrillas that came over here. No guerrilla warriors got on those boats to come over to emancipate those freedmen in Texas.
Wasn't no
they didn't know what the
tools
hell was going because they were so busy getting their heads bashed in by the Belgian, French,
that's right,
the British. You understand? They wasn't worried about what was going on here. So they didn't first send no guerrillas with no rifles and feathers on.
That's
they
right.
didn't do that. It was American freedmen, black American freedmen, soldiers who went into Texas under the command of European American generals and officers and things of that nature, and other white men who basically served the Union, that went in there and enforced the Constitution on those demons who were still holding our people in slavery. It was freedmen that did that. It was blue uniform, American flag waving freedmen who done that.
Talk to him. Woo, fire. And it's so funny, right? As we're giving these history lessons, we see the Sade person commenting on her post. She said the original U.S. Constitution did not consider black people to be human beings.
False. Tell her to
I know. But she doesn't want to have a debate.
Why don't she come on to the post?
That's what I'm saying. Just education. And I know she's listening. So she says the original U.S. Constitution did not consider black people to be human beings. The 13th Amendment legalized slavery in prisons. If you're saying that the majority of black Americans have identified as pan-Africanists, what exactly is wrong with using the RBG flag on Jews? She's responding to somebody else. She's not. I don't think any of her responses are to me directly, because she knows that we are not to be trifled with this information. And that's wrong. The original U.S. Constitution did not consider black people to be human beings. You don't know American history. Imagine me going, if she's from Jamaica, I think she's from Jamaica. Imagine me going over to Jamaica trying to tell them about their own history and getting it wrong and speaking it with such confidence and surety that I know that I'm right and they're wrong. This is absolutely insanity, but this is that paternalistic nature. I use that word all the time because these people, they come over here and they try to be like the dominant society. We pulled that up in reports. We've shown it. That's why she made the post. That is why she made that post. That let me see. Over the past, like, let me go back and read. Basically, she said, historically, it has always been pan-African cultural nationalists that have preserved black holidays and traditions. Then she spoke of this, right? Let me see. Okay, she said, to me, the whole conversation over Juneteenth colors is silly because while black people argue back and forth online over this, non-black people are building institutions and businesses to sell us products and profit off of our own culture. You are not you are not us. You're not a free, right? And I want to pull this up real quick. This is what we're doing is taking control over our narrative. We never had to do that before. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday being a federal holiday, it was opposed by the white racists in this country, right? Vehemently. One of the, who was that, man? Created a 300-page report, Helms, I think Jesse Helms. And it was Patrick Moynihan, I believe it was, took it, threw it across the House floor and walked over to it and started stomping on it and called it filth. Filth. So let's share this. Let's share this article. This is from the Dallas Morning News, right? And this is important, right? Because we don't take control over our narrative. It's going to open up to the commercialism. What the Shay Sade person is doing is trying to commercialize Juneteenth by making it this universal celebration of blackness.
Right.
And that's not what it is, right? Ain't no discounts for cars and mattresses on Martin Luther King Day. You ever seen a commercial come on TV that says it's MLK Day? Come on down to your local dealership and get 30% off or whatever when you sign up, or 0 APR, whatever. No, you've never seen that. You've never seen a mattress sale or more. Now you might see something like that maybe in an Atlanta or something like that, but you're not going to see that in most pockets of America. So this article is important. No candies or toys. MLK Day resists easy commercialization, right? And this is a dope picture. I've never seen this before. I gotta save this one to the computer. Matter of fact, y'all know how we do. Let me put the link in the chat. We give out the information over here so that our people can follow along and we study, and we all basically have the same base of knowledge because that's what we're striving to do. I look at this picture one more time. This is just a dope picture of whom we call the second Freedmen King, standing next to Ralph Abernathy at that. The giants, Freedmen giants. All right, so there are many ways to celebrate the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. But regardless of how you celebrate, there is something unique about the holiday that makes it stand out. It has resisted becoming a day that revolves around shopping. As the Dallas Morning News pointed out in the January 18, 1998 article about the holiday, a dozen years after MLK Day became official, you still won't find happy MLK Day greeting cards or wrapping paper. Today, I am sure you could find MLK Day cards or wrapping paper if you look, but presents and cards are still not easily identifiable with the holiday, just as they weren't a decade ago. This is clearly on purpose, as the news noted in the same article. That's just how the people who established the holiday in 1986 wanted it. They intended the slain civil rights birthday to be a day of reflection, not shopping. They had hopes it would turn into a President's Day. See, and then it says in the different, basically what the MLK's family and the people that made this holiday an actual holiday did was they got together. They got together and said, we do not want to commercialize Martin Luther King's image, his message, etc., etc. And that's what we have to do. This is how we have to take control over Juneteenth and the narrative as it relates to our people, our freedom fight, our struggles, etc. We can no longer let these people, we can't let Walmart come in and do what they do. We can't let RBG flags and RB yellow flags be flown in place of the colors that represent us as the freedmen. We have to take control of that. We can't let people like Sade and the rest, and Greg Carr and the rest of these pennies take control over our narrative, and we won't. That's why we're doing this live stream. Sister Roz, what's your thoughts on that, sis?
I'm thinking like this. Look, you got like we had said before, we are a unique people. We are the people who are speaking out for our ancestors. They're crying out and we're fighting. We are at war. Not only are we at war, not you can't just look at somebody because they'll say we, they say our, they say us, and we got to find out who these people really are. And if they're sitting there talking anything like, if you read what Greg Carr said, he was like, "Oh, you don't have any kind of history." If he were one of us, a freedman, he would not say that about his grandmama. He would not say that about his granddaddy. He would not be sitting there talking disrespectfully like that about his ancestors that basically built this country. That's what our
Mm,
ancestors did. So he's
mm,
talking out of turn, and these people are jumping the line. They're sitting there trying to have this dialogue and this conversation as if they were us. And we got to be able to have some kind of mechanisms by which to reward great behavior, by which to punish treacherous behavior such as theirs. This woman here, she's not one of us. She's not of our lineage. Who is she to even talk? If people say, well, you want people to be scared to talk, if they're, yes, I do, because I want them to realize that there is a consequence, a huge consequence for talking for freedmen, and they're not of our lineage. They go and I can't go to Trinidad Tobago and tell them what to make out of their flag, and you're gonna have RBG for this day now, and they would throw me out into the water and swim back from Tobago to Trinidad
That's
and let
fact.
sharks eat me. They're not going to let me just sit there and continue to talk about whatever they should and should not be doing in the country that they built. We need to start standing up with a steel spine and telling these people with a very sharp tongue, you do not have the right to sit here and talk for us. And we got to get the word out, the message. People just doing this melanated kind of thing. Well, they're black like us. I don't know. Ask the questions. Where did your people come from? And if they
that's right.
start talking and they don't talk like they're from us, and they try to we this, they will we us, they will us, they will our us. But we got to be able to tell them, no, you're not from here. So you need to stop talking. You need to get behind us, and you either get behind us and support what we're talking about, or get off the mic, get off the soapboxes. I don't want anybody else speaking out for me. This is our house. Would you let me come into your house and tell you what color to paint the walls in your house? Would you let me come into your house and tell you what kinds of food you should eat, when to trim your grass, what to grow out there, whether it's flowers or tomatoes? No. So if you don't let me do that in your house, how are you letting these outsiders come into our house and tell us what color to paint our walls, what to eat in our as far as our food, and what to grow in their yard? You got to be able to have that steel spine and that resolve and look people in the eye and say, no, you're not us. Now what? Well, I run this institution, so we don't care. We didn't hire you for that. And as soon as I can, I'm going to try with every inch of my breath to get you up out of that position and put somebody in there who is of our lineage, who who is looking out for our people. The education system is messed up like it is because we're sitting there looking at people based upon this melanin and not the mind. And the mind, the thing that's going to keep them in a focused position is what? That they come from our lineage. They know our struggle. They are of our people, and they respect where we're coming from. Otherwise, we're getting in this doggone alien kind of thing, and they're going to come with an alien mindset, paternalistic, looking down their nose at us and telling us what we should do and how we should do it. So we, like family, we're at war. What are we going to do about it?
That's right. That's right. Trying to get some of these people to come on, man. They still talking on Twitter, and we're asking them, do y'all want to come on? Come get this work. Where y'all at, man? Rabon, I know you watching. Call some of your peoples. Tell them to jump on the live and stop being scared, man. Because we're not having it. Y'all not gonna win this argument with us. You can't. We got the history of our people on our side. You can't tell me because somebody used the term Africa for a fighting force, a freedmen, that they somehow embraced pan-Africanism. That is the most fallacious of arguments if I've ever heard one. So I just want these people to come on, man. Grim Ali, one of y'all go in and address these people, man.
Why are they scared to come on and have the dialogue? Why are they scared to come out here and have the dialogue?
Because they know they're going to get cooked. Greg Carr knows it. From when we did that joint last year, going that Roland Martin. Y'all ain't read the bill, you dumbasses. Right? He always calling somebody dumb. Cooked them. Absolutely cooked them.
I would love to see Roland
on that topic.
Come on. I would love to see Roland come on.
Roland ain't coming on because he's not going to want to, number one, he's not going to want to take away from his fan base, because if Roland Martin was to ever come on this platform, he's going to get cooked with the facts. It's just as simple as that. And, that's going to drive some of his followers like, damn, they did Roland kind of dirty over there. Let me see what these people talking over here. And, you already
and that's unfortunate with everything. It's like people that don't have our best interests in heart and are looking at their personal gain. And that's part of the problem and the downfall of our people, is everybody's getting wrapped up into their individual growth and development and not caring about the facts, the truth, and
that's right
for the people.
That's right. But I just want to say real quick, man. This is a sidebar, and I think that for those who understand this stuff, we talked about it, and we have it in, bro. Our next thing, I don't know if we gonna do it on this platform or one of the other platforms, bro. But for like the people that's metaphysical minded, or maybe some form of esoteric information, that's into that, bro. We need to get into this Freedmen metaphysics curriculum that we have been talking about, because a lot of this stuff, yes, it has the components like what Sister Roz was saying. Those people don't have our best interests at mind, but a lot of that stuff also has metaphysical roots to it, and to stop the growth and the development of the freedmen in this country, to make this great experiment what it's supposed to be. And there's a spiritual element behind what's going on with the freedmen. And I know they got some people who agnostic and stuff like that. That's our friends and family. This is no offense to them at all. But there's like they say, Shrek say, there's layers to this thing, and there's layers to this thing that's rooted in a whole spiritual understanding. And when it comes to those people that look like us, that's fighting against this freedman principle, basically it comes down to this. I read a verse in excuse me, from the Bible the other day, and it was from Ephesians, and it's not to push any type of specific religious belief, as opposed to addressing the metaphysical and the spiritual elements to this thing. And that's basically the bottom line in the quote. And one of the quotes in Ephesians, it basically said that our war, I don't, let me pull it up because I don't want to misquote it, because I want people to basically see where I'm coming from with this. And I just want to outline this one thing. And in Ephesians 6, chapter 6, verse 12, and this is regard to all of the opponents of BTP. We was talking the other day of, people taking slick shots, Sister Roz, at all of us, taking slick shots at the Freedmen family. But the bottom line is this: our struggle is not against the flesh and the blood, but against the rulers. See, the narc, the Cobra, the ties that they are making politically to try to stop the Freedmen specificity claim for Freedmen only. All of those people represents the rulers, and how they are taught. They are all connected in, right, Sister Raj, to the Democratic political party. All of this stuff, it's a conspiracy against the Freedmen, because our power ain't against flesh and blood. I mean, our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but it's against the rulers and the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. And all of this stuff is tied up. The same thing with Moses. When Moses was trying to bring those people up out of Egypt, the same thing occurred. So watch these people. That's because the Israelites were the freedmen in that day and time, who was freed from under the powers and the authorities of the Egyptian pharaoh. Well, we, so to speak, are the metaphysical Israelites today that's going against this thing. And there are many people in the caste, but I'm saying the priesthood, but I'm talking about these activists. These people don't have your best interest at heart. Booker T. Washington said it best. They want to keep your problems out in front of old black people. Black people hurting, black people getting beat, black people getting killed. Eric Michael Dysons of the world. See, they want to talk like that for the rest of their lives. They don't want to be free indeed. So, of course, if they don't want to be free indeed, they want to be against this freedmen movement. And that's the bottom line. But we got to get into this freedmen esoterics, man, that we talked about. Peace.
Indeed. One day we gonna go in on that, probably on our other channel, man. We're gonna start like really breaking some things down. We're gonna take control of our narrative. And that's what we're doing right now. We are in the process of taking control over our narrative. And this stems from, California. A lot of this stems from California, right? And how upset the pan-africanists are over lineage-based reparation provisions versus race-based reparations provisions, right? Race-based is the thing that will get the whole thing shot down and challenged in the Supreme Court. But when you start dealing with lineage, when you start dealing with specific families who can trace themselves back to that peculiar institution and the persons who were emancipated thereafter, then the conversation changes. Then the people, these organizations, these global black conscious organizations that Carr speak about, Narcan and Cobra, they start to lose control. They lose control because they can't push the pan-Africanist ideology that they want embedded into our justice claim. Just like RBG, red, black, and green flags have nothing to do with Juneteenth. It has nothing to do with the freedmen at all. It has nothing to do with us. Neither does the things that Narcan and Cobra are proposing with their global pan-Africanness. If you got off the plane a week ago, you should get a reparations check from America type of push. And they're mad that we are here putting the Freedmen gate up. And what we're seeing is akin to white backlash. That's what we're seeing right now. What we're looking at right now is akin to white backlash, but it's coming from people that wear a skin like ours, but they don't wear a culture like ours. They don't wear a history like ours. They don't wear a unique pain nor struggle like ours. And yet they speak of themselves in inclusive terms by using inclusive language, like the Shay Sade person, us and we, us and we and our. This ain't got nothing to
Now,
do with you, fam. Yeah, go
now,
ahead,
Pete,
Ali.
it's a little bit off from what you talking about. I'm going back and forth with the Dwayne Wong Omawale
I
dude, right?
see it.
Now, I said, why don't you jump on? Because he said Delaney came up with the name Corps d'Afrique. So why don't you jump on and present us with the documents that Corps d'Afrique came from Delaney? He says, I can't jump on the stream at the moment, but if you're looking for documents, it comes from biography that was written about Delaney by Frank Rollin. It's in chapter 14. I said, well, that's not a primary source. I have the primary source directly from the Major General.
Like we get into primaries over here, fam. Like, come on. You
Some
can't. Mhm.
biography written about him. Nah, listen, I got the primary source directly from the Major General, dude, talking about this is what the designation is going to be. He mentioned Delaney one time in there. So I want to see it, man. Like, he got to bring it. I'm not going to go through no biography. You need to bring
Yeah, he
the.
said he can't join the live stream at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But he said you should
Okay.
check out what you just said, that biography that was written about him by someone else.
And see, that's what you just said. You just said a few bars, both Ali and Naeem. Um, People that just want to come over here since this live stream started are going to get a check, according to people that are pushing for this race-based reparations. And that's just how silly it is. That's just like somebody that just broke into your house can just raid your refrigerator and eat all the food. I mean, these people are just don't make sense to me. It's nuts. And they're sitting up there
Bruh
trying
man
to
from
say,
the fifth floor, Roz.
yeah,
Hey Roz, they bruh man from the fifth floor,
yeah, you
holding up
pop in
four
there
fingers.
on the fire escape. Now you can raid the refrigerator at will. That's just ridiculous. And you wouldn't allow that to happen for anybody else. Now they're sitting up there, Narc and Cobra, IBW 21, First Repair, all of these people. Yeah, we're going to come for you. We're sitting up here breaking you down and telling the whole truth about everything. And you don't like it. And it's a pushback because you want California. Well, and you hearing people such as Chemerinsky, that is the foremost noted the federal scholar, and he's legal scholar, and he's telling you that you can't go in using black. Well, I'm going to make sure I talk to him. Who are you? I mean, who is this Holder woman? I'm an attorney. Okay, it's tens of thousands of attorneys probably in this area alone. I'm in the DMV. It's DC has more attorneys per capita than anywhere else in the world. So being an attorney doesn't mean anything if you're going to sit here and try to say that what you're talking about is going to overshadow what Chemerinsky is talking about. It doesn't make sense. You're trying to give people benefits because of melanin. So everybody with melanin, and even those without melanin, such as shout out Rachel Dolezal, are going to say that they're black, and they're going to be demanding
That's
checks.
right.
So you're going to have people that are from everywhere going to all of a sudden be black. I don't understand how crazy you have to be to keep pushing that narrative. And if you're pushing that narrative and people start waking up, they're not putting it necessarily in any major newspaper or major outlet, but the word is going to get out that you're the ones that are spoiling the reparations and the direct payments for the rest of our people. How long do you think that you're going to be able to sit there and continue that kind of foolishness, holding up what we actually do need is our reparations? We need it now. We don't need it as a blanket. Everybody with melanin, everybody that's black. You're going to have people from Japan that are black, people from China that's black. Everybody's going to all of a sudden be black, but nobody's going to be the freedmen. So this,
Facts.
Talk
this
to
is
him.
how
Yeah, it
ridiculous y'all
is.
sound to me. Y'all sitting up in here pushing that narrative,
Talk
and
to
you're
him.
hurting the people who it's supposed to be specifically designed for. I don't sit up here and coddle with you, and it's too many arguments that have been made to show you on a logical level, on a reasonable level, on an emotional level, where people have actually called in and told you their stories, and for you to not be moved with logic. And you're supposed to be doctors and attorneys, and
Mm.
people like me can go in with my dad and trace our lineage back
Right.
to the 1700s. And then
Talk
you're
to him.
sitting there, you're a doctor, you're an attorney, and you can't do research. How did you ever get your degree? Oh my God. Why in the world are you speaking for us if you can't trace lineage back? And I as an educator can trace my
Woo,
lineage
woo.
back. So how did you ever become an attorney when your primary
Woo.
duty is to research as an
Research. That's
attorney?
right. Talk.
As a
Talk
doctor
to
is
him.
to research and write out paperwork. How can you do that when you can't even go in and do the necessary work? Maybe you shouldn't be on that task force. Maybe you should be up out of there. Just recuse yourself and move on.
Woo.
And I want to say something real quick. I want to take a trip down memory lane, and I need everybody to follow me on this real quick. Like this, what they call nativism, a black nativism or American black nativism. This whole thing about us being this self-contained culture that is different from everybody else. When this whole thing started, even kind of like when the hashtag people started doing their thing, right? Narc and Cobra was nowhere to be found. Those organizations wasn't really powerfully active like that. Even in my town, I think there was. They got a new chapter, if I'm not mistaken. But for all intents and purposes, those people were kind of defunct, except, in their leadership and the people who was keeping it alive and maybe getting grants and government funding or grant funding or whatever to continue to maybe line their pockets, right, yo? But the bottom line is that them people didn't even have Twitter pages, some of them. And when we talking about what, 2019, 2018, maybe? And those people instant, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Those, some of them people, organizations, and follow up on this. Them people was nowhere to be found until American freedmen started talking about their specificity and their and their claims for themselves and reparations for themselves. And the bottom line, this all comes down to that when you look at the claims that we have and the battle that we have to fight and the way that we are positioned, we're probably closer to getting reparations than any of those Caribbean or African nations as far as making a claim and an argument to do something and also influencing the electorate. Then all of them narking and Cobra people, all of these people coming up out of the woodworks to stop this thing from going on. And especially in light of what's going on with our people in Cali.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Trying to show some love to the people in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button, make sure y'all share this out. If you want to support the platform, you already know you can use that super chat feature, or you can send us a cash app, a contribution, $ be the power. You could also go to our website, www.usadof.org. Make a tax deductible donation. You know, we are a legitimate 501c3 organization. You can look us up, man. You can look us up. You could definitely look us up. So Otis said he wanna come on and let's bring Otis on. Hold on, O. He said Grim wrong about these people.
What Grim wrong about? Well, I guess he
don't
gonna
know.
come on in. He come on in and
Let's get Otis
let
on.
us know what time it is.
I just sent the link on Twitter. Oh, honors, brother Dre, and shout out to the fam.
Shout
Shout out
out
to
to
the fam.
Dre, man. What up, Dre?
Oh, there go Josh. It ain't quite
It's
the end, but
it's almost it's almost
we
the end.
we was getting there. We was getting there. So
What's up,
yeah.
John?
Hey, Josh.
Josh is funny, man. He is so funny.
Is your mic working?
You gotta unmute Josh.
Dre said we got him motivated to come
Come
out of
on, Dre.
retirement.
Come on, Dre ain't been on in a
Yeah,
minute,
yeah,
man.
that's right.
You know what I'm
Dre used to
saying?
come through a so often.
Word.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna put the link in the chat, man. Y'all come through and speak y'all piece for a couple minutes,
Yeah,
man.
let the people jump
Let
on,
the
man. Let's see
family
what
jump
people got
on.
to
Y'all,
say about
everybody, y'all come
some of
through.
this.
Josh is looking like he's having some technical difficulties, but yeah,
Word up.
man. Um, Otis, the link is in the chat, and plus I put it in that twin box. But you know, we
Ty
came
Harper
in.
in the building. What up, Ty
Ty
Harper?
Harper, what's going on, Ty
I mean,
Harper? Sister Shanna, Sister
Sister
Cynthia
Shanna.
Blaine,
What
Sister
up? What up?
Marjorie
What up?
Melvin.
What up,
Who
Marjorie?
else? Our sister Morgan, you already know, is in the building.
Morgan in the building.
Sister
Morgan
BB,
Yeager.
trying to see
BB in the
what
building.
Black Seed, the child of life. DMV Freedmen is in the building, fam. You already know. You already know. Like, this is what we do over here. This is what
Slide,
we do.
slide through.
Word.
BTP Prime is in the building. What's going on? What you got for the family, Prime?
Peace, 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 family. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Great discussion. We knew that these raccoons was too scared. BTP is still undefeated. Let's keep it going. I appreciate the information. And my thoughts on this was I mean, I honestly thought the pan-africanist lady was gonna come on here, but obviously not. I think personally, if you are a true, real Pan Africanist, you would most definitely be in support of the American freedmen struggle. You will respect it, you will understand it, just like Queen Mother Audley Moore did. She was one of the ultimate
That's
Pan
right.
Africanists. And if you truly are a Pan Africanist, you acknowledge the American freedmen struggle and plight, and you support us as Pan Africanists. I thought we was all one family. What happened?
Come on,
What
man. See?
happened?
All that common
What
sense
happened?
and
So if you don't support reparations for the American freedmen, then you ain't a Pan-Africanist. Let me get on my Joe Biden shit. If you don't support,
Talk to him, Prime.
yeah, if you don't support American freedmen reparations, then you are not a Pan-Africanist. So whoever this lady is,
I
I
like
don't
that.
know her lineage. She ain't a Pan-Africanist, and she's not moving in the spirit of Queen Mother Audley Moore. That's what I got to say.
No, just because
Word,
Arlie
word.
Moore was a freedman. Brother Ty Harper is on. Brother Josh. Go ahead. Let's see if Josh Mike is working. So I think he having some issues. Yeah, Josh is still having some issues. Go ahead, Brother Ty Harper. Go in, bro. I think Ty Harper having some issues too.
Okay.
That's
Can you
There
why.
you
hear me
go.
now?
There
Hey,
you go.
it's
Peace, brothers. Haven't talked to y'all in a minute. This is my triumphant return back to the BDP studio.
Oh yeah.
Ty
Oh
Harper in the
yeah.
building.
Can
You need the applause joint. We gotta put the
you
applause
hear
joint
me?
up in there. Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna get all of that going, man. We gonna get all of that going. We got Sister Morgan in the building. Go ahead, Brother Ty Harper. What's your thoughts on this topic? And
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
no, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Josh just having
Okay.
some difficult technical difficulties.
Yeah. Basically, I'm my voice is a little sore because I've been giving speeches at Juneteenth events here, calling people out for the green, black, and red. The good news is that they didn't stone me to death. um, and I hope I got through to a few of them. The biggest issue that I have with what's going on with NARC and Cobra and all of these organizations are that they are literally paid now. Literally, we've already shown this for the last year or so. Naheem, remember, they've literally been getting grants from the Carter Foundation and other foundations not to lobby for reparations. So how are they lobbying for something that they're taking money not to do? Secondly, I call it pure pan-Africanism now because this is a fairy tale, okay? The green, black, and red flag is a pure lie. Marcus Garvey and his own organization in a news article specifically said the red in the flag were for Reds, which were communists. The green in the flag were for the Irish and their fight against Britain and famine. So how is that a Pan-African flag if you're talking about communism and Irish? Keep this in mind when they're doing this, and we're fighting this fight in New Jersey right now, okay, against them. When they're talking Pan Africanism, they can never answer a question directly. When I ask them, I say, okay, do you understand that reparations in America, okay, and Juneteenth in America is about American freedmen? An American freedman is a Negro emancipated slave, their family, and by extension, their descendants. I'm like, so what are we talking about? Oh, well, what about black people around the world? I'm like, they can do their own justice claim. But this is not about ending white supremacy. This is about getting a debt that's paid, that's owed to us, and to repair our community before we are wiped out.
Hold
Period.
on, hold on, hold on. Jeez. Somebody named Red Caucasian, sunburned in Africa, Egypt, said, you guys are Israelites, not just black or African American. I'm not an Israelite. I just
Well,
gotta let that guy know
hey, look,
that.
me, the way I'm rocking at this point, I don't have no problem with the Israelite argument. Now, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite per se with the ideas and the all the concepts and philosophies of many of the Hebrew Israelite groups, man. But it's a lot of things that Hebrew Israelites were really, man. We talked about this earlier. A lot of the Hebrew Israelites was like ahead of their time in addressing some of these arguments and stuff that we have. I don't want to go left field with this thing, but
Yeah.
a lot of this misandry that exist in the community uh, with a lot of black males.
Mm-mm.
A lot of the Hebrew Israelites was
Yeah.
addressing that stuff in the early 90s, if not before. The next thing, about in dealing with, these African immigrants, and basically in their own way delineating our experience. Because I used to resent how they used to call you Hamites and this, that, and the other, but now understanding the behavior of a lot of African immigrants against the American freedmen, I'm not opposed to a lot of those things, because a lot of them brothers was ahead of their time in addressing a lot of these African
I agree.
concepts and stuff
I
that
agree.
the Africans had portrayed on Freedmen. And here's the thing.
Look, Grim, I agree,
right?
But I ain't no Israelite.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
If we go back in time to even our father, Nat Turner, Nat Turner was basically inspired by the Israelite stories in regards to our freedom and led a revolt and we kind of touched on that before, based upon their interpretation. And you go back to people who was emancipated, the first emancipated slaves who basically adhered to the biblical doctrine. The first thing that they related our stories to was the stories of Israel. The slaves, when they were singing for freedom and stuff, a lot of them stories was related to Moses, the freedmen degrees that was in the Bible, the exit for freedom and stuff. We can go on and on. Like I said, I don't agree with a lot of the some of the things that, because that the chart that they say the American blacks of Judah and the Haitians are level. I mean, we can't prove that. But a lot of the like, what's that brother who founded the Church of God, the Saints of Christ, Prophet F.S. Crowdy? Man, the first thing that dude did when he was emancipated from slavery was went out in the streets and start telling people they was Israelites. So it was kind of a relation there. But I absolutely, feel what you're saying. Now he's not those fools, but I ain't too. I'm not. I ain't gonna crush the. I ain't gonna crush the brother.
Right, but you know what I always say. The more from my research, and I'm not gonna stay on this. I want OG Otis to go in. From my research and my understanding of the biblical story about Israel and how um, the person that was called Israel in the Bible got that name sort of as a name that represented a particular incident he experienced where
Right.
he had a struggle between himself and the god El, right? That name is more of a nickname, and the fact to me from my research is that the people were actually Canaanites, not Israelites. But I don't want to be late. I don't want to keep that going. I want us to kind of like get into
we're gonna address that one day though. The black Canaanites in history. Seen some
Freedmen
confusion.
Esoteric channel, bro.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. We seen some confusion today. But angry old dude, OG Otis, what's going on, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh
yes
yeah.
indeed.
You just
I'm sorry.
muted yourself. Okay, there you go.
I just want to tell you guys, y'all are hard working and do some facts. When I said my man Grimm is dead wrong, here's what I'm saying. Not of the facts that he was given, but you got to look up. My memory ain't that bad. I ain't got Alzheimer's yet. I know Arthur Ward came on and gave y'all the background exactly on how IBW 21, NARC and Cobra, the December 12th, all the same people that Tony Blunt them are messing around with up in New York to New Jersey to Houston. Let me say this to you. I'm going to tell y'all. I'm 68 years old. I know you know your contemporary history and you know what's written in the books. Let me tell you what I know from having lived it after marching with afros, flare bottom pants, all of that shit. Let me say this to you. These people have done the work. And some of y'all have been in private conversations with me and another elder because I don't like to put people's business in the street. But let me say something to you. If you stop and look at this, you have seen for yourself, even in part of the movement that I started off with that ended up being run by somebody that I call Slim Shady right now. Let me say this to you. You've witnessed for yourself that an elected official that goes on every damn show on MSNBC and talks about how hard she works for her black people, and she's proud to take up the mantle of what John Conyers did, all the facts that y'all know. And let me say this to you. People that you know in the flesh and blood, some of them that even stood up for that damn Byron Allen that done faded into the past when he done got his damn bag and moved on.
Ain't that
That
something?
lady would not even entertain a meeting with constituents in Houston that she has gone to one of the longest celebrations of Juneteenth from Galveston to Houston in this country. I just wrote into something to tell y'all I'm amazed at what my life has changed from 18, 19 years old or 1974 when Lawrence Brown, a friend of mine, his mother, explained to me why I was wrong to clown them for Negroes celebrating not getting free for 30 months after liberation. That was one of my first checks is, hey, you know some shit that you know, but sometimes what you know ain't all there is to know. Let me say this to you. It changed my whole attitude about Juneteenth. I came out of a little country high school, went off, Air Force stuck me in an elite thing with missiles and all of that. And even though I was anti-war with the and this is gonna make sense when I finish with this, with Vietnam, when I got there and found out I was working with the largest nuclear weapon in the world, and I was around some black people that came out of some of the top colleges in the world, Morehouse, Howard. They were the ones that were finally the first crop of black officers that were in charge of nuclear weapons. I happened to be an enlisted man sitting beside them. They were dumb as hell. Some of the smartest people in the world. They literally were getting happy every time we got a damn war message. You had to decode it and find out whether it was practice or real. They were dumb enough to believe you could set off nuclear weapons. So let me explain this to you. That's why I can look at somebody like Sheila Jackson Lee and understand that heifer disrespected y'all in Houston. When I tried to talk to some of those people, and I'll call their damn names out, Printer the Poet, and all of them suckers that was sucking up behind Yvette, had masterful skills. Were talking shit about what should be done, what was wrong with Narcan and Cobra. Let me tell you something. If Ron Daniels gave a damn about what you said about his intentions, you and I would be millionaires because the man don't care. He's on the inside. He's on the take with the legislators. Jackson Lee and everybody else in that CBC. 3/4 of your CBC lineage is not rooted in who you are. And you got to wonder how they can get somebody like Ben and Jerry's. When I told you I was a dumbass and just looked it up on Open Secrets and started digging into what was being said in foreign newspapers before I could understand why Unilever bought Ben and Jerry's so they could go in and usurp Occupy Wall Street. Let me say this. This is fact. You can go to places like the Critical Hour or the Consortium News.
Excuse me. Can you clarify the Occupy Wall Street part? I'm
gonna tell you why. That's why I brought it up. Let me tell you what it is. They used Ben and Jerry's to go into Occupy Wall Street, giving donations of ice cream and shit. And guess what they were doing? Also getting intel fed back to the New York City Police Department. The Unilever was brought to be the greening of one of the worst corporations in the world. I can get to that background, go to wrong kind of green, you can get it. But here's my point. Once they found out they could get in there and usurp with fucking free ice cream, let me say how this matters to us. Some of y'all people in the business world, how the hell do you think Walmart and every damn distributor, even the damn dollar store, had ice cream on the shelves for June the 19th, put out in all of, quote, select major cities without having 6, 7, 8 months of planning before that? Now, how does that connect? Sheila Jackson Lee them signed on to that shit 6 months ago while they had us diverted with something else. That's not accidental when a major corporation runs a production especially for you and commercializes it. But the thing is, we're not getting on the right people. And what I mean when I mean all of us that are on the side of reparations. Because we don't get together and crowd in Roland Martin's goddamn channel when he up in that shit. We're not getting in there arguing with people like Tiffany Cross that is on MSNBC. See, I don't know enough about how to do it, but I know y'all got enough skills. We ought to have our own change.org shit where we're going at them. We ought to have on our own constant emails or 2 or 3 people that are hitting every one of them from CNN to you name it until somebody cracks. People like that damn, the one that wanted to interview Yvette, Lindsay Davis. I'll put out some of my business. Somebody came to me. I didn't know that much about Lindsay Davis. There's another light face on there as a talking head. Somebody that wanted to, quote, make me a YouTube star came to me, ended up being connected to her family-wise. What'd they do? They extracted information from me, tried to make me to look like the bad guy with Slim Shady, because when they got in touch with me and said, at Monty OG, I'm emailing Yvette Cornell, and I'm not getting any answer. Why won't she answer? The first thing I said, because I'm that Negro. Hold on. I'm just a nigga that called in, and I'm of utility to her, and she let me talk. I'm not her agent. What I can tell you, and y'all know how I am, so let me tell you what my stamp is. I told you I used this shit for memory check. I went back and found the clip where she said, what y'all can do is just make sure you put it all in caps. Email it to me at Breaking Brown, blah, 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 blah.
You got it down, OG. You got it down.
Damn right. I watched enough of it to drive me crazy. Matter of fact, she's better than a good blunt. Anyway, now let's get back to what I'm saying to you. No matter what they said to me, and I'm telling you, I got phone calls, phone records, and emails with this. Several different publications, same shit. Well, I haven't heard you on her program. No, hold on. I don't control nobody but me. I don't try to change nobody's concept or belief about shit. And I tell you, I might almost have got taken for a ride. She came on. She said she was about reparations. Y'all saw I called in and supported her. Bam, bam, bam. When I found out that I thought I was headed over a cliff, I didn't wait till I got to the damn edge and rocks are sliding and gravity got my ass. I shut the fuck up and I moved on. And I told these people the same thing. Those people are well ahead of us because they want us to be stirred up and misdirected. I'm going to tell you again, if y'all got enough time, and I know you got the energy, all my shit is public. I'm trying to find a way to crack it and start making some of the people in my age group, some of these old retirees that got nothing but time just like I do. I work when I feel like it, even though I ain't rich, because I ain't hungry and I got shelter over my head. But if we don't start getting at them, we're not going to control the narrative because they keep moving the goalposts. Let me say this to you again. Sheila Jackson Lee is not the only one there that's that way. Look at Karen Bass. Look at Barbara Lee changing up. Barbara Lee was the only one that stood up, didn't want to put out money for Iraq and Iran and all of that bullshit and turn around and do what? Agreed to send $54 billion and another $1.2 million to the 51st state. How the hell is Ukraine a goddamn U.S. state? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to get real with this. Let me say it to you again. We have to find a way. I don't know the answer. I know what should be done because we didn't do it when we had the football. So I can tell you what's wrong. I've been arguing with my people and my peers for a long time. All that shit about we successful because they got Steve Harvey on there acting the damn goon. They got Magic Johnson telling you if I get a movie theater, I'm good. All of that shit is branding. It's the same old play over and over and over again. So if we don't do something to attack them directly, and I'm not talking about them as a person, I'm talking about their actions and their record. They tell you about the GOP don't care about their people. I know people that sent me text messages telling me what they were going to do with Sheila Jackson Lee. And I told them, unless you're willing to disrupt things and take handcuffs, you're not going to do anything with her. Because until somebody's willing to give up their liberty, even for a short time, and have somebody ready to bail their ass out of jail, they can continue not answering phones. They're going to, and when they don't answer phones, let me tell you the other shit they'll do. The person that you had as a contact that used to be the staff, a senior staff member or contact point, when they know they're getting on the edge of the law and can't get around you, they move that person to a new position and put somebody else and tell you, oh, it's human error. These people know the game, but they also know this. Y'all know when she thought she had the football close to the edge and she changed it from 12 to 20 million. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when geopolitics got in the way, Cam Howard them disappeared. Ariel Maradazan came up. Watch this. When money got infused to the organization, go check Twitter. I do that. I check the opposition. Ariel Maradazan started talking about where the funds went and how Cam Howard needed to be more transparent. Let me tell you something. Y'all are on the right track when you say they ain't got us, but you got to stop attacking the people. These people are getting paid enough. They don't give two shits about about what you say about them. You got to find the damn evidence. And I'm telling you, I've been on it. I tell you, I don't play with them. That's why you never seen Narc and Cobra or Cam Howard attack me. Because when I went after them and asked them, why is Ben and Jerry's all of a sudden infusing money and backing HR 40? What the hell does Ben and Jerry's know about HR 40? Somebody in the DNC or perhaps bipartisan, because Kevin Cosby them up out of Kentucky ain't all they claim to be. There's a whole lot of GOP money that goes into supporting them. When a person tells you they graduate all their seniors and we're the only HBCU that does it, let me ask you a question. Anybody out there, you can put it in the chat or you can send it directly to me. The average HBCU out of 100 and 110 or so of them, if I were to tell you, hey, y'all, I went on and paid the loans on all of my graduates, how many graduates would you think that would be? Single digits, double digits, in the triple digits? Tell me what number. Throw it out there. You ain't got to be right or wrong, because I'm going to tell you. It's going to amaze you when I tell you what it is.
I'm going to just, for the sake of a number, I'm going to just say 5.
5? Actually, I think it was 6, so you went off. And guess what that ended up being? Let me say this to you. Because they got so many trusts and foundations set up to that little college that he graduated his people from, Republican donors are the ones that paid those people tuition. When I'm telling you I don't take a salary at my church because I do this, that, and that, I also don't tell you that I got 3 or 4 damn 5 or whatever it takes to be able to get around money. And I say this to you because I got the facts to do it and don't give a damn if you sue me. I'm so damn old by the time you get out of court, my broke ass would just be a albatross around your neck. So shoot at me. Let me say this to you. I hadn't said a word or looked at any of the shows of that snake oil salesman with that hang around with old Bumble Babbler. The guy that started out as a quiet love relationship guy. I don't know if black love is gonna make it. I don't know if y'all understand. See, y'all don't understand. But I had to go to Mexico to get my teeth fixed. Nigga, you claim to be so damn successful and you ain't got an insurance plan? How the fuck Obamacare?
Wow.
I don't mind stepping on toes on that nigga, but I ain't talking about him. I'm talking about the shit he put out there in public.
Right, yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you again, if we don't find a way to cohesively come together and put pressure on those key people, especially Sheila Jackson Lee and anybody else like Jeffries that spoke up for it, Cory Booker that spoke up for reparations, and now that his political swing didn't work, he in the back scenes doing what Yvette would tell you people do. When they lose, they don't do like Marcel and get mad and lick their wounds. You know what they do? They go back and start figuring out to strategize for the next 2, 4, 6 year cycle, because we all know this goddamn game comes right back up just like the World Series. I'm gonna tell you again. I admire you young people. I'm gonna move and get the fuck on out the way, but I can tell you, if you don't put pressure on Maxine Waters too, that's another one. Let me tell you about how disappointing. I hear people talk about Maxine Waters. Let me tell you how it is as a Negro my age, happy enough to be here with y'all. Maxine Waters put her chances of being reelected on the line with who? Randall Robinson. Guess what she ran over there for? To bring Aristide back after the U.S. had overthrown his ass. She went with Randall Robinson and got him and brought him back to Haiti against the U.S. government. You try to get her to do something against H.R. 40 and see what that heifer do. No, we just got other things with the 51st state right now. We got pressures and the inflation. The bitch got everything to do. But she was running for black people across the world. Aristide, and let me ask you this. What good did all of that do for her with Aristide when Haiti is still the poorest country in the hemisphere? So they tell you, poorest country. What they don't tell you, it ain't much different than Puerto Rico. They got $1 million homes there. Go look up Google Map and see it.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? Go look up and see how they gave a Korean that had already been under international warrants for the shit he did, and he runs a sweatshop that was put up with money that came from the donations from the damn hurricane. Let me tell you something. If we don't start getting on these people's ass, because to be honest with you, I put up a tweet from somebody I had a personal conversation with, and I sent it to Tony Blunt them too, because I'm gonna tell you, this is not just about personalities. These about these people have income based on derailing us, and it behooves them
That's
to
right.
have an international swing because they got plans not for our survival. They just want to make sure there's black people in key places all around the world, as if we ain't got that shit right now.
Mm,
We're gonna have to
absolutely.
start. I'm gonna tell you, and I'm old enough, and I to tell you what I'm talking about. I don't live in Houston now, but I'm old enough. If somebody got to get put out for going to see my congressman or whatever, I'm 68 years old. Many times you done held me overnight driving down the freeway. I give a fuck about getting locked up for calling you out for fraud. I'm gonna leave y'all alone and tell you, seriously, pick up the phone, hit me up during the daytime when I tell you, if you got a way to do it, I'm looking to come up with a plan that I can go beg my people to donate money so it can be done to scale. Much love on
Indeed.
you, brothers. Be strong.
Peace,
Definitely.
peace.
Thank you for coming through. Sister Morgan, you up. And it's crazy, because I'm just sitting here thinking about, I was like, all right, I know some people that Otis need to be building with. Is Sister Morgan is definitely one of them people, right? We need, unmute your mic,
You
sis.
got unmute, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me come in after old head. You know, I'm all about that smoke, all about it. We get up in these niggas' faces because it's necessary. And you're right. I mean, there really is no way to do it now. We're behind the curve, right? These people have strategically put in place what they're doing, right? And we need to understand that we don't have any friends. And it's advantageous for all of these people to keep us at the bottom, and so for me, I see it clear. I see it clear. I don't care if anybody fumbles the ball. Oh, you're an obstructionist. Get them out the paint. I mean, he basically said everything that I've been saying. We cannot be scared, and there are going to have to be some confrontations. There just are. And I want my people to understand that, right? There's confrontations in different ways, but we have to make these people feel uncomfortable. You don't get to come to our communities, go to our churches. You don't even get to go to a goddamn Target. Your kids having a recital, we right there. I would love to see that for reparations. And I need my people to understand, like, we have to do it. There is no other way right now. They have to feel uncomfortable. Cheryl Grills, she should never be able to go anywhere without feeling the heat, because this is our community. And I can say this, right? When the Croats and the Serbs had their little beef, what happened was, the reason how they won was because they started putting out t-shirts, right? And it started with the adults. And it started with adults, trickled down to the kids. By the time it got to the kids were being fucked with, right? And now, see, you're fucking with our kids. And that's what mobilized the community. And that's how they won. Because you got to come back. So when the officers came and they started fucking with those kids, now it's a problem. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is how you build resistance. This is how you win movements. These people don't get to feel comfortable. And all of them are so comfortable. And so that's all I have to say. I mean, Ohed said it all. Thank you for that Ben and Jerry's Occupy Watch, because I wondered why those white boys got tempered real fast. And we need to look into that a little bit more intricately, and I will. Because, man, they were here, dirtyish. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the whole vibe that came off of that, and they just disappeared. You don't hear about that movement, and it was so big. But I do understand why. Everybody got their checks.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, your documentary is fire, sis. Fire.
Yeah, I
Really
didn't get a chance
appreciate
to
that
check it
joint.
yet. I'm gonna
Yeah, because
definitely check
a
that joint.
reparations obstructionist got it off YouTube, and I'm gonna handle that too. But I
Oh
mean,
wow.
me personally, I know what I'm being combated with. That is my family. This is our story. I'm here as a fourth generation Philadelphian. Oh, hey, he was born 1917 in Philadelphia. So I'm going to be here,
Wow.
and I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be shouted down. But for me, I just have to say that the social media thing for me, it's not working. It's not working because I'm really a real nigga, and people will get touched when they're over here playing with our justice claim. So I understand that. And so I got to stay focused. Video is back up. You can go to my site. And I'm going to find a way that third party, that I won't need a third party because it will be on my site. And I'm actually working on that now. But yeah, we got to get that message out. Please retweet it. Let everybody know. And I'm going to have volume 2 out before the end of the year.
You know you were quoted in an article too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read it last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw that too. I just got one thing to say to you, Sister Morgan. Um, People will allegedly be touched. Okay, don't just say to me allegedly. Okay, this way we can keep FBI off of you, keep you off of that BIE list. Okay,
Allegedly.
there you
Well,
go.
touch can be seen as a however, yeah, they'll be emotionally touched.
Put
Emotionally
your
touched.
link in the chat, Sister Morgan.
I will do.
Everybody,
I will
yeah,
do.
because I didn't even
Yeah,
get a
that
chance. I seen it the
documentary
other
was
day, the link, but I
awesome.
didn't even get a chance to check it.
Yeah, somebody got it taken off, claiming a copyright infringement for my goddamn family. So, like I said, there's obstructionists. And you know what? While I have time, I'm going to say this person is a legacy civil rights granddaughter. And this is what I'm being combated with. So we have to understand and recognize what time it is. I'm going to handle it directly. You know, my family's here. And I think a lot of people are just jealous because I have my family involved and they're all in line. So before you come out talking shit to the people, make sure you got your family aligned. That's the first step. But yeah, like I'm going to get it back up. I like I said, there's another outlet for it, so it's up on my site. We was at 303 views before that person got it taken down, and it's going to be back up. And in the meantime, I'm going to figure out a way without a third party because I need traffic to my site. And I think that all of us have to remember that all of these internet outlets have a way to fuck the algorithm out so that the message doesn't get out. So the best thing we can do is build our sites and make sure that any content we have comes directly to our sites and we're controlling it.
No doubt, no doubt. Make sure you put your link in the chat, sis. Everybody's asking for it for your website.
I will. I'm doing it now, guys. I
Okay,
got it.
okay,
Thank
cool,
you.
cool. Definitely, definitely. You
I
know,
got my little 2 cent in too,
yeah, guys,
Brother
Sister
90
Ross.
on that. Yeah, that documentary was absolute fire. If you have not seen it, please check it out. Yeah, that documentary was fire. I mean, I saw it and I immediately was like, this needs to be out here and distributed, and I really, really enjoyed it. Now, when we talking about documentaries, we're talking about this is what I'm talking about as far as documentary. This right here. And if you don't know, Morgan is excellent at pulling research and doing the actual work and writing. And now who knew? She's also a documentary film director. So and Aspire. And I wouldn't tell you that because I'm a tough critic. I wouldn't tell you that unless it were true. So congratulations, Sister Morgan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I felt like it was just necessary. Like my family has a story. We all have a great story. You know, I am a direct descendant of Aaron Malachi. I have his last name on the 1870 census coming out of Bentonville, South Carolina. We all have triumphant stories and they all need to get out there. So I hope that I inspire all of us to document our family because that's all it is, and that's what I did in our networks, you know. So I appreciate all the love. I'm going to keep doing, but I hope that if we document these stories and they can't go anywhere, and we can spread the message, because I hope that it resounds with everybody that is of our lineage because it's important.
Indeed, indeed. One more person wanted to go on. We could go for a few more minutes.
So these people still didn't take the invite, step up to the plate. What's
No,
going
they
on?
they're
Nah,
Still
nah.
making
chatting on Twitter.
Yeah, he's still chatting. He chatting. He was chatting, but he's not really saying anything now. Cause, but anyway, I think Marjorie wanted to come on. But remember what we were talking about earlier on the phone, Prime. What OG Otis was saying the same thing. I'm like, these people have embedded themselves, and they've had years to do that. So they, in many ways, we're trying to play catch up with them in
Right.
terms of, like, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's deep, man. We can't take them for granted or underestimate them at all.
And they have political power, right? They are in line with the politicians. Otis brought up Sheila Jackson Lee. And she's pivotal in this whole thing. I could pull up my flow chart again, or showing like the head of the Democratic Party and its black branch, which is it's comprised of a lot of people who are of immigrant stock that are pushing immigrant issues over the issues of freedmen, and that's what's important. That's what's important. That our issues are being placed on the back burner year after year, cycle after cycle, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping that Sister Morgan and Otis can link, and Sister of Sherry that's in the chat. I just found out that was the Sister Pandora from Twitter from Morgan, but that when she shouted her out in the chat, and yeah, we about the thing. We definitely need to come up with like some strategy. We can work on all fronts. We have to move in the united front. And I know sometimes we fight and get into low skirmishes. I ain't gonna speak on those right now. Otis, I'm gonna leave it alone. But that's what families do. And really,
Yeah, Otis.
those those little skirmishes, that you have with family, sometimes it make the bond a little stronger. And it is what it is. I'm not mad at nobody, right? I'm not mad to the point where we can't work because of some little disagreement we had. And some people be on it. Some people they get too mad. As long as it's it stays in their head, then it is what it is. Sister Marjorie Melvin, welcome to the platform. Did you have something you want to share?
Yes, I did. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I just want to thank you for the consistent scholarly presentation that you all offer week after week. So that's first and foremost. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for the information you all share with us. And then shout out to Morgan. I'm definitely going to check the documentary out probably tonight or tomorrow. I know it's fire. But the OG really was the one who kind of prompted me to call. My father is 80 years old and born and raised in Houston, Texas. Had to leave Houston to go to Vietnam because his mom and dad couldn't afford to have 5 young men staying at home in what's called Independence Heights. And I know Otis is aware of that area. Independence Heights. Again, Independence Heights. It was given that name as the first Black city. Hear me out, fam. The very first Black city in the state of Texas, Independence Heights. Okay? Guess who represents that area? Ironically, guess which representative?
Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yes, sir. And that should not be. Independence Heights was founded in 1908 after enslaved people were looking for areas that they could live and buy homes in, and they secured and built up Independence Heights to be the very first area in Houston that they could live in, the very first municipality in the city of Texas. Booker T. Washington is where my dad went to high school. Yates is another high school in the area. And this is a predominantly Black area, Black American area that, and I'm just going to say it, as the daughter of Jamaican immigrants, this should not be an area that Sheila Jackson Lee is representing. This should be an area, this should be a congressional district that is being represented by freedmen who care about freedmen, who care about ensuring that heirs' property in the area goes to freedmen, who care that freedmen are not being gentrified out of the area. And so I say this to say, again, Morgan, you have prompted me to make people feel uncomfortable. I will say this. I sit in a space where I don't always feel comfortable making people feel uncomfortable, but I've got to start. I just saw an email from my national sorority. And guess what person on MSNBC was recently inducted as an honorary member into this sorority? Just take a wild guess, y'all. And I know Raj should know, will know.
Joy Reid?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I happened to go to Atlanta in November 2021. I had the opportunity to confront Joy Reid. But I didn't want to do it there because, I didn't want to necessarily make this woman feel uncomfortable at a ceremony where she had been, before which she had been inducted. So I didn't confront her. But you know what? I'm not going to be disrespectful, but I'm going to start confronting these people. And it starts with those of us who are in these spaces where we see these people who are intentionally moving against freedmen interests, confronting these people. And we don't have to be disrespectful, but we can ask them, hey, I'm aware that you wrote this documentary that doesn't really necessarily align with our interest. What we need some answers for that, Miss Reid, soror. My point in speaking is I was really motivated, or really I was called out, I guess, by Morgan, reminding me that I really need to speak up, make people feel uncomfortable, no matter how much it puts me in a position where I make people feel uncomfortable, and I'm no longer in the in crowd. And I just wanted to share the irony of Sheila Jackson Lee representing Independence Heights, an area founded after freedmen had to leave the deep rural South and come into more of the Western areas, and how that absolutely should not be. And I'm with the OG. I don't know how we garner the interest of our seniors and our elders, but we've got to do something, because these people are just so set in their ways, and they're not willing to do something different, knowing full well that voting for the likes of Sheila Jackson Lee is not working for us. So with that, I'll just stop. I know others want to speak, but thank you, gentlemen, for having me on your show.
Oh, honest,
Thank you.
honest.
Yep,
Yeah,
definitely.
thank
I'm
you,
gonna say, gentlemen and ladies. But just to follow up behind the sister, that's why what you spoke on, Naheem, was very important. That Freedmen Convention, when we have that Freedmen Convention, these are the type of things that need to be sorted out and put together, strategized, and carried out. The things that the sister was talking about, and the thing that OG Otis was talking about. And I'm gonna say that brother was 100% correct in what he was saying. I had no problem with it. I think we basically was saying the same thing, maybe in different terminologies, but I have no problem with what OG Otis was saying. It was true. And the bottom line is that the things that the sister just finished saying, these are the things. That's why it's important for all of us to come together in an organized format, in person, in some hall, somewhere in these United States of America to basically sort these things out and put that agenda together and put the people in place. And we get to see and meet each other and all of the other different freedmen that's listening, that people that's going to listen in the future, all those people, and give those people opportunity to basically come to that Grand Freedmen convention so we could set up our plan of operation and plan of attack.
That's right. That's right. So, fam, we coming up on two and a half
Hey, real
hours.
quick,
No, go ahead, Sister
real
Ross. Go
quick,
ahead. I'm gonna let
Naeem.
everybody
Hey, I
go.
wanted to just say, how
Mhm.
you doing, Sora and Marjorie? We gotta follow each other or whatever the case may be, sis. And I just definitely wanted to thank you for yeah, I know I've been reaching out to Joyanne Reed for a long time because I want to have that conversation with her. If she's not gonna follow me, then I gotta have an open conversation with her. But at the same time, yeah, we gotta start disrupting. I've been down to Houston in March. Love the Houston. They have the Freedmen Library down there. They're showing the bricks where it's built with their own hands of our ancestors down right down there. So yeah, that H Town, they give love. They have the turkey leg hut and the line that's a block long waiting outside to get in there. But we got to convert all of that into energy for our people and to not just have like the skin folk, because all skin folk ain't kin folk. So we got to get it so that our people are getting the benefit of reparations for their energy and their love and their support. And I just wanted to thank you for pointing that out.
Indeed. I got Brother Dre in the building. I don't even know how long he was down there waiting. I just happened to scroll down and seen somebody else was down there. Dre, what's going on, brother?
Nah, what up, what up? Yeah, I was waiting, but the sisters and Otis, they pretty much covered everything I was gonna say. I just wanted to give a shout out to Ali for bringing me, for motivating me to come on. But I was just real quick side note, yo, Ali, I remember you said with all the immigrants in New York, it was gonna start looking like Jerusalem. Well, it's Jerusalem now, homeboy. With these bikes, it is Jerusalem. Just real quick though, similar to what Otis said and a few of the sisters, I think one of the biggest problems is
Wait,
that
before,
when it
but my
Mhm,
bad. Before you go in, we got Otis on, but this only allows 10 people in the chat.
mhm.
So if
That's a
somebody
fact.
could drop off, and I don't, what I'm saying, I don't know if anybody else want
Well,
to
I'll,
have.
I'll be quick. I'll be quick. So
All right,
if
all right, yeah, you all right?
yeah,
Just
I'll be
go in,
quick
bro.
because
Okay, okay.
because I'll
I'm
give
gonna drop
deference
off.
to the panel. Um, but yeah, like so the one thing you notice though when you look at this uptick in the so-called pan-Africanist talking points and all of that is that it's literally a self-esteem issue. So if any of us as freedmen would, let's just say you have a Ghanaian friend or somebody, a coworker, call them Senegalese by mistake and see what they say to you, right? As soon as if you, I'm getting a feedback. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Dre. You good?
Yeah, y'all hear me? So yeah, like if you ever have any of you ever called like a Ghanaian, a Senegalese, or a Senegalese, a Ghanaian, and seen their response to you, that shows
Yeah.
you the farce of Pan Africanism. If two so-called neighboring country or a country that's not literally geographically far from each other refuse to be called one by mistake, then how are we looking in America calling ourselves Pan-Africanists, right? The whole concept of it is just like it's a farce. And what it does is it fractures us even over here to the point where we can't even get on one accord for what we're trying to do. So when you look at like the Roland Martins of the world and all these people, they work in, look at his channel. It's an echo chamber. I remember at first when y'all even first got into the BTP space, I remember I used to go on his channel and really like confront a lot of these ideas. And the whole chat is just an echo chamber, right? It's just a simple, it's
That's
a
right.
silo.
That's right.
And when you understand that, but it bears down to the fact that it is a lack of esteem from when you know your parents or your grandparents and your great great grandparents bones are buried in the ground, and that you built this country but you don't have any inheritance, you don't have anything left. The one thing you do is you join any movement that you think is going to give you access to something. even if it's like the most Care Bearish, He-Man, My Little Pony type situation, that's what these people are. It is literally a form of their self-esteem that you're attacking. This is why they mount up against us, right? Because they don't want to hear the truth. The sweet lie, even if it's Sheila Jackson Lee, even if it's Roland Martin, even if it's any of these people who you don't see put boots on the ground or do anything, they just have, like Otis said, there's dollars behind them. And if you can't feed the people, you can't lead the people. This is what makes our job that much more difficult. Because one, we got to come with the truth. Then you got to come with some type of finances. And then, like you say, you got to shake the apple cart everywhere you go. So with that being said, it's just a lot of work on each and every one of our parts just to keep going. And that's all I wanted to really say.
Indeed. Go ahead, O. Let me.
Gotta unmute.
All right, there you go.
Wait a minute, I'll get it here in a second, man. I tried to look up Joy Reid. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't see me, but this is what I want to say what Roz was talking about. With Joy Reid, to be honest with you, I'll show you track some things on him. Joy Reid, what's the movie for the girl Rue Simmons out of Evanston? Have y'all seen the trailer for the new movie documentary they done on her?
I think it's called The Big Payback or something.
There you go. I thought you
Yeah,
y'all know what the big payback really is in our culture. That phrase is iconic in my youth.
Facts.
Payback. Now let me get this out to you. Joy Reid, I shared it on Twitter. I didn't catch it until I just happened to sample something because I saw that Joy Reid went all skull cap blowing on me. And I said, look, and then she interviewed another young lady that I hadn't seen in a while. I don't know if it was Simone, the football tackler, or somebody. Anyway, her whole conversation with them, when they come on, supposed to be news people, they gave me some beauty shop talk. Oh, girl, I ain't seen you in a while. Both of us got new hairstyles. Yeah, you got to keep guessing. That same shit Yvette did when Tony, what's that nigga name? Mr. I'm from Boston, bad guy running down behind Marianne Williamson about how much clout he got because he talked to, what's that girl, Presley. I caught her when she running, she solid. What's his name? Reggie B. something.
Reggie
Raggedy ass nigga talking shit all the time. Anyway,
we call him that soft. We call him that soft dude.
Yeah, see, y'all get into some shit. That's too much for me.
doubt.
Y'all get me all confused when you get into that downy, fluffy, wuffy stuff. Anyway, is it shaman or not? That's too much for me. I can't handle it. But with Joy Reid, she literally went through this little 3-minute set till she dropped the bomb because they gotta have ethics. I just want to let you know, girl. Me and my husband are co-executive producers on that program. You're telling me a talking head from the islands that come here and get put up by MSNBC to talk for us as though they are us, and she co-executive producer of something that ain't even reparations. Now watch on. This is what I'm getting ready to tell you. Not once after Robin Rue Simmons that ended up leaving her elected job and took on a paid position from, watch this, bring it back to the people that y'all claim ain't got no clout. When we tried to sway her away behind the scenes from that in Cobra action, Ron Daniels came in and gave her a position. So her foundation got boosted with some of that money that came from the foundation that somebody just asked. But MacArthur Foundation gave them a grant. ACLU got behind them, and Ben & Jerry's got behind them. I caught wind of the infighting because the first thing that happened is somebody sent me a, quote, private communication where they were arguing about what they're going to do to upgrade their website. When I went to it, after that money came in, I'm going to tell you, they got a nice website. When you go there, you can find what you want is organized. They ain't worrying about whether it's, I don't know, all the technical shit, whether you can do box A with the talking or the promo. In other words, that infusion of money brought them some white people to work with them that got them clicking a little bit better than they was before. Just like you look at Yvette Carnell. If you think she's using the same damn cameras and switchboard she was using when she put Irony on the hook, you ain't paying attention. What y'all gonna do? Y'all need to leave that FB1, Facebook. Y'all need to leave them alone. Even that, what they call that, Freedmen mess. Ain't nowhere to go but 80 West Org, the same shit they stole from a nigga right there in their own home city with Kevin Cosby. Don't y'all think because every person come out their damn lips hollering about they got God on their side. First time somebody tell me they blessed and highly favored, you know what I do? Duck and tell my friend, if I
Nah,
blink,
funny.
you better have your eyes open. Watching. You ain't got to wear no badge on your shoulders. You got God. People tell by the way you carry yourself and the fruit that you bear. Much love to you, brothers. I'm gonna tell you, this game is being played. I'm frustrated because I'm old, and I'll be honest with you, I don't make no mistakes. I'm no fatalist, but I done seen enough people leave here to know I ain't got no control over how long I'm gonna be here, and my day is coming. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I might not be here, might be dirt and dust. But if y'all don't find a way to put pressure on these people, not because of, quote, their personal life, but what they're doing publicly, the CBC should have a mechanism that you can complain about somebody like Sheila Jackson Lee that won't take a constituent's call. But I tell you what you can do, though. You can look through some of these Republicans and find out when some of their hillbilly people call up and tell them shit, them people pick up the phone and get shit done. And go on the local news and brag about it. Go through the Houston news area and look how many times some representative, whether they federal or state, has done something from a local person in the area. 9 times out of 10, they ain't black. Unless somebody got run over or robbed or can help them increase the police budget. I'm just telling you.
OG,
Don't
I
get
seen a
distracted with
piece.
the personal shit, because I'm going to be honest with you. Human beings ain't no different than me. I got some shit that's messed up with me, too. My nickname is Mr. Asshole, and I wear it proudly. Because I don't
OG
try to
Otis.
assuage nobody's feelings. I tell you how I feel. I shoot straight, and I work hard to keep my word. Be strong.
Otis, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Did you see that piece where the Latinos is saying they not going to take the disrespect from the Democratic Party that they give the black people?
Well, you know, I resisted that because I got a good friend. Well, y'all won't know her name anyway. I'm sorry I took a bite. Where's Hart? Gave me a lot of information what was going on in LA for the last 8, 9, 10 years. Got the ass at me because I tried to explain to her. I don't do anything to stand in front of what's being done in California, because the best thing I can say is, from my point of view, the only thing that can come out as positive for, quote, me, not being in the group of my fellow fighters that are in their how goes California, there goes the nation, is what they truly believe. And it might be true for fashion and shit like that, but I'm going to tell you, I think they got it wrong because I know what white folks are doing. When I hear the Greg Carrs and all these people talking about going to Africa and white folks are scared because they're being a minority, let me explain something to you. I went on Facebook and said it when I first came on here 10 years ago. I'm going to tell you again. What made you think the model of apartheid that's used in South Africa, where the law is structured that the minority can rule, ain't coming here? Here's what I can tell you. Go look at the current news on what Texas is trying to do. Texas is supposed to be a what? Purple state going in Berlin. It's blending the laws. You know what them white boys are doing, don't you? They're putting their own statewide electoral system in so that the minority can rule. Same thing work for the nation. They say, yeah, if it's legal for the nation, we'll do it here. You know why? Because they only got something like 40% of the actual jurisdiction, but they set up so their 40% has got more representation than the other
Right.
50%.
That's
60%.
that.
So they don't give that.
Redistricting.
And let me say something else to you about Hispanics. I told y'all honestly, when I was calling in on Real Life, it went back to Tucson. I ain't going to give all my personal business, but I had to read Hispanic people that I'd known when I marched with them in Cinco de Mayo and Cesar Chavez and shit, 1974, 1975, 1976, Tucson, Arizona, running around with a damn afro. I'm black and I'm proud, a pick in my head. I'm all for the black and brown revolution. When I went back to see some of those people 35 years later, they moved on, married white, and when they found out I was in town for other business, will get in touch with me through a friend and ask me, can I go meet them somewhere? No, nigga, if you can't meet me out in the open, what the hell I'm gonna run down to the burial and hide in some place or meet you at your grandmama's house? We ain't got it like that. And here's the bad part about it. Some of them same ones that I call my brother, my negro lindo, my compadre, when you know what they asked me when they saw what I was doing on social media?
What's that?
Why you still talking about that race mess? I said, because y'all the niggas that can blend in. I'm always going to be black. I have no aspirations for assimilation. If
That's
y'all
right.
motherfuckers can't take me the way I am, we got a problem. I might as well know there's a battle. I don't need you behind me when I find out you ain't for me except when I'm carrying your ass. I don't need a load like that on my back. Be strong, people. We got to get it done.
Peace,
I
Chief.
got faith in y'all. That's why I stopped trying to be so antagonistic to the actual people I love. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't waste a lot of time talking about what their intentions are when I see that they figure out how to monetize our pain, how to create revenue streams, even when they
That's
claim
right.
they're helping us. I'm gonna ask you again. I know for a fact there's no way you can coordinate no American enterprises to load up and come out with the same ill-inspired color scheme for, watch this, Freedmen. And watch what I'm gonna tell you. You can go on MSNBC, CNN, every talk show. What's that Cuban's name that had the thing? I can't, Soledad O'Brien. Look at all of their pages. They'll tell you more about the history of Galveston and throw in all that shit about the people that were significant that came out of Yates High School, but they won't tell you George Floyd and Roland Martin both went to Yates High School. But let me tell you this. I told you I was in the service there. I had a brother that was from the 5th Ward in Houston, was one of my stick man in tech school at Wichita Falls, Texas. You know what he used to say all the time about them Haitians? They bring them suckers in here and they give them all kind of businesses and stuff, and then they come in and want to take over shit. That's the same shit we saying about the Mexican. Rolling them in all they claim to be. And I remember the age that know that they misrepresenting this shit when they tell you about we all did this together. No, we didn't. Be strong.
Peace,
They got
peace.
the bag and told us how dumb we were not to follow them. Be strong.
Peace, hope. Peace, hope. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
go ahead,
powerful,
Sister
man.
Morgan. Then we're gonna go around and wind it down.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he said it all. Like, I needed to hear him say that tonight because for me, I get discouraged. I'm a bleeding heart. I'm genuine. Like, I don't really need that much. I just need the one thing that I would love to see is our people not need that much as well, because they got their equity, they got their inheritance. But so I put a link in the chat, and I was listening to Dura Ben Wad, right? He is the founding member of the BLA, right? He talks about co-optation, and he talks about him. They ask him, "How did you get acclimated with the Black liberation struggle in America?" He says, "Nigga, because like it's my life, you know." And he says that his generation is the last generation of the loud. So I coined the hashtag Return of the Loud because our elders need to understand that no, it didn't go anywhere. It's just that it became depopularized to be loud and be righteous and not be co-opted or pigeonholed by respectability politics. And that's what I have to tell Marjorie. You don't have to make an excuse, or you don't have to say I'm not going to be disrespectful because these people are disrespectful. And I told this girl on Twitter Spaces, and I want everybody to understand how I think about this and how I see this, right? They want to have us like Waterworld in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean if we don't get our reparations. And it's that serious. And that's how everybody needs to interpret that. They want to have us on rafts in a makeshift land in the middle of the water because we're not going to afford to live in America, and Africa doesn't want us. And do
Come on.
we want to see that? And that's how we have to think about this. And I will spend whatever to give up a fight, right? Because I'm not going to let these people not have a fight. You're not right now. They don't see a fight, and that's what I want to do. Galvanize our people. We have to fight. Even if we lose, we fought. And that would mean everything to me. And I think that would mean everything to our elders. So that's all I have to say. But if you read in between the lines, he's saying it, the co-optation. No, BLM shouldn't have been Black Lives Matter. Should have been Black Liberation Matter. See how you co-opt that. You know,
Mm,
these kinds of things, when you're on social media, we need to be thinking about these things just before we put it out there. Any co-optation that can happen, that's why I did Freedmen 19th. You can't co-opt that.
mm,
You know,
that's
that
right.
literally came from me listening to this man talk. So what he does also say is that the left doesn't have a historical context. Like, we don't remember our struggle, right? But the
That's
right
right.
always does, and they
That's
remember it
right.
and they apply it. So,
Man,
that's all I
Morgan,
have
you
to say.
hitting on some stuff, man. Woo. Let me tell you, know, you reminded me of the letter that J.B. Stoner, that's his name, right? J.B. Stoner, when he wrote
Mm-hmm.
to Elijah
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad.
Yep.
Now, he was obviously, he would be considered a right winger, right? If he was
Grand
alive today.
Grand Wizard of the
Grand
KKK.
Wizard of the KKK, man. That dude ran down Black history, boy. He he
He sure
he gave
did.
that history to Elijah Muhammad, man. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Them people know.
He went back to the Moors in Africa, basically. Oh, God
Yeah,
damn.
man. They remember. You right about that,
That's
Morgan. Them
right.
people be
That's right.
remembering
He
that
went
shit.
Mhm,
all the way back. That's
mhm.
right.
Yeah. So, that's, I'm of the Black radical tradition that culminates me as a person. And I had to get back to the basics. And I forgot who I was. And I forgot how I got acclimated in movement spaces. And there is deference that I need to show the people that did it before me that got the results. So I'm just going back to my basics. But, that's just how I feel. So, and we have to look at different movements that actually won, because I talked about on Twitter Spaces Castro's literacy program, what he did. We need to get back to stuff like that, so our people can interpret the information. When we understand that the public education system has been decimated, so we need to recognize that our people need that literacy so that they can interpret the information, and we have to do the dirty work. We have to get in the mix, because it's great for reparations, but it's even better for the establishment of our people and the longevity of our people here in America. So that's all I have to say, y'all. I really appreciate this time, and I'm glad y'all
Oh,
came on,
honor.
and I appreciate it.
Oh, honor, sis. Thanks for coming through, bringing that fire. You accentuated angry old dude. Our
That's right.
OG Otis, man. Y'all really hit on like some really good bookend points
Important.
about just being more active in pressing the in disrupting the actions of these people. And I feel what you're saying, Otis, when you say, their personal stuff is their personal stuff, but what are they doing insofar as legislatively, and how are they moving with certain people and certain organizations to cause the types of outcomes that make us outraged in the first place? And we need to be attacking that. So I definitely
That's right.
understand that.
They causing the outcomes produce produce circumstances where you can't get proclamations done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
You see,
That's
you
right.
see,
That's
and
right.
it's so interesting the timing of it all, because remember we were talking about that, and it's just like, oh, the mayor straight up said, yo, you can't get that done, but at the same time, like a few days, a week or so later, they down here with all of this pan-African stuff, the mayor and all of his cohorts and stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, man, we can't take these people for granted at all. Cannot, because they've positioned themselves over the years in places that can be used specifically for obstruction and the advancement of their pan-African agendas and any other things that they want to do that will be anti what it is we need as a group.
Facts. Facts.
Let
Facts.
me let me throw this in before y'all go. I'm gonna pull a Josh Jr. Y'all got to realize. Didn't y'all see my man, the sinister minister, doing his presentation at the White House?
Yep, I seen it. I pulled it up.
Yeah.
I pulled it up earlier
All
on
right, yeah.
the
I
screen.
just want to get confirmation because I'm telling you, I'm old, but I got a lot of stuff. I finally learned messing with my nephew and doing some tutorials. So I can't always keep up with it, but I figured out how to do the little Google searches that'll make certain things pop up because they won't send all my notices on Twitter and all that stuff. But you can do little Google searches with keywords and they ping along every now and then. I don't have to throw my glasses on. I can just look right up on the screen and pair it up and say, oh, press conference here. Let me say something to you. What kind of scrutiny do you think they went to make that presentation that Sinister Minister did at the White House? I'm saying months in advance. Months in advance. This is what I'm saying to you. So they already had this laid out. So my point to you is, I've said this often to other people. That's why the Cam Howards and the Sinister Ministers, when they do the atrocious thing, like he hit that man in public and then he talked shit about the women that were in ADOS and all of that publicly, because the white folks still pay him. He back on Sirius Radio. His program is still getting it. In other words, they can take that hit. They're there to distract you from what I'm telling you. Going after Hakeem Jeffries, Maxine Waters, Rip Clyburn, Sheila Jackson Lee. There's a whole host of them that are going along with this crap. But what they do is, when they know that they're going to do some mess with Ghana for trade, or they're going to do this mess here with the Caribbean, they got their people that's making money off of selling the damn flags and shit down in Tobago or Jamaica or whatever. These people are grifting. They're making money. They're true capitalists. And I'm bad as my man, who is that said, show me a capitalist, I'll show you a bloodsucker. See, I don't mind people making money and meritoriously and stuff, but when you do like the Clyburns and get in and funnel money to only your own people, you're not grooming the community or building it up. Like I heard it bet. Oh, this is what I want to throw in. My amnesia almost hit. I even heard, you know her? The one that looked like her ass sitting there talking to the money man at her own conference and looked like some damn body on a fucking skit from what's his name? Noah. The real African American, South African that got
Trevor Noah.
That's it. Yeah, the trivial Noah that got the spot that one of us should probably have in our own country. But see, they import their black people because they're malleable. Yeah, they'll tell you how proud they are and how much shit they went through in a damn what do you call that thing? So it's Soweto. What's the little neighborhoods they live in? The Shanties. It's Shantytown.
Yeah.
He'll tell you about his trauma and growing up the light skinned one in his pack, and like that's equivalent to what we go through out here, wondering why your freedom or your life will be taken. He worried about whether or not somebody in his family treated him bad because his grandmama loved him better because his color was better. But this is what I'm saying to you. These people know how to monetize things, and they so strategic till you can have somebody like the Sinister Minister who got a reputation for spousal abuse and everything else, and he there talking about how he connected in the Lord, and they got him at the White House telling you how you should be in touch with this Jamaican Caribbean looking color scheme that ain't got nothing to do with the red, white, and blue that our ancestors, and you know better than I do, because you the one that actually talked about the Freedmen history. We ain't got nothing to do with them green flags and stuff. That's all right for, quote, where my people were stolen from, or my uncle married one and now I like them. That ain't got nothing to do with the direct lineage of us that were property, bred and treated like any other animal on the farm. Women treasured more than men. Why? Even Jefferson, a founding father, told you that. Hell, you get a young one and breed them, it's like, what? Every 11 months, you're increasing your wealth. A male, yeah, you can get some work out of him and work him to death. You got to go get some more. But you get that breeding mare, which they treated our women as, no different than having a sow. So when people like him come up, I tell you, the short thing I got is when Logic probably can tell you. Matter of fact, where is Logic? I send his stuff. He probably can tell you, a confidant that we have, a mutual friend that we talk to. He said it's a damn shame that they have these people that have usurped our lineage, and he called them the ineligibles. They have the ineligibles representing us. He said that Tiffany Cross, Roland Martin, your
I like
girl.
that one. The
It makes
ineligible.
no sense. You know what? And even the African one that interviewed Yvette. When you look through it, I hold no animosity against them as people, but they know they're being used because they know who they are. They know they are not us. That's why they insist on keeping us tied up in whether or not they black and all of that. And I told you straight up. I said it finally on your show, but I've told Cam Howard them for years. And when I called in on Block Talk Radio, I didn't know what to tell them related to the scheme they playing. But you know, life have a way of giving you answer. Y'all the original BIPOC niggas. BIPOC, people of color, they got mad when I used to tell me all that. You know, us people of color got to stick together. Hold on. Ain't nobody come over here and help me here in Virginia with my fight. I watch Hawaiians, Greeks, Indians, because I'm in a military town. You know how many blended families they got. I just happen to be in a county that's got Air Force, Army, Navy, all of that stuff right across from Norfolk. As a matter of fact, my Tidewater area is so big, I even got my man Jared Ball. I got him to put up one of my comments on his show. And you know he don't like me. Don't like me at all. Because he said something about Fleet Week and what he went through in the Navy. And I told him, hold on, man. I was in high school. And right here in my Tidewater area where you bragging about, this is where I grew up. And one thing we know about you Navy guys is Fleetwood meant free pharmaceuticals, and plenty of them was there, whether it was micro dots or anything else you want to get. And why? Because he made the comment that most people don't believe. At that time period, it might be true now, the biggest drug distributor in the world was the damn U.S. military.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't know if you muted yourself or your mic went out.
Oh, I'm sorry, I bumped it accidentally. Uh, what I'm saying is the part what I was telling you. He talked about Fleet Week, and I told him, hey, I was in high school. We didn't integrate till the 7th grade. By the time I get to the 10th grade, Fleet Week, where they had us, the black kids, honoring all these soldiers, you know what the white kids was doing, don't you? Getting ready for their micro dots and whatever the hell else was going on at that time. Any kind of pill you could pop. The Navy was the biggest distributor of drugs in the damn world. And he talked about it because he was on a naval ship with 3,000 or 4,000 people. So I'm telling you, this country's got a lot of shit going on. Matter of fact, that's another reason I found out his mother is Jewish. Now I understand why he believes in this global pan-African
Oh
thing.
yeah. Oh yeah. I
Because his
called him
mother,
out on that before.
oh man, he's literally talked about it. And I said, oh, now it's making sense to me. But I'm going to say this to y'all again. Every time you ask them, why the hell can you tell me you can be proud of Jewish from Israel or from the Caribbean? I got a aunt married to a guy from Virgin Islands. She outlived him. She won't even come back to the U.S. because she loves the Virgin Islands better. From what I can see, I wouldn't love it better, but that's her thing. And I love her. She's on my dad's side. But how can you tell me that I should be listening and worried about your fate from a colonized world, and you have no empathy for me from chattel? You were colonized and your people helped usurp you. Very few of these people that we're talking about now were actually enslaved. Haiti, yeah, they had some. But when you look at some of these islands, it wasn't the magnitude of slavery that we have here. And as a matter of fact, to make my point,
Facts.
look at the difference in how Kamala let her Jamaican, quote, dad go because of the color mix. But the color of her mother didn't stop her from doing what? Social economic. And it ain't like she come from the lowest caste in her country. And I'm going to ask you this. I wonder how long her and Mark Thompson them laughed and joked about meeting there for this bullshit they held with these fake ass colors. See, that's the stuff I don't like. I got real life experiences that tell me there ain't no way I look up at a Freedmen presentation that's been commercialized, then have the audacity to even get the color scheme wrong. And these people are always talking about optics. Shit, they spend billions of dollars for optics. They ain't give a shit what we thought of it. Be strong, my young people. Be strong.
Indeed, All right, we're gonna wind this thing down. We coming up on 3 hours. Roz and Grim and Prom are still. If y'all could just a brief closing statement so I could get up out this chair. Please do so. Let's all right, let's start with our brother Prom, and then Grim, and then Roz.
All right. I guess Andre Boyce got off, but I wanted to say something about what he said, taking a little cheap shot at New York being the new Jerusalem. I want to just say that freedmen are the majority in New York. We are organizing to be specific and disaggregate blackness here in New York. California is not the majority of freedmen, and we was able to get the AB 3121. So if Cali can get those state acts of atonements, so can New York. Also, I want to be clear that AB 3121 is a pro-freedmen law. Again, AB 3121 is a pro-freedmen policy and legislation. And for those who think the American freedmen are going too far, good. I don't think we go far enough, and I think we need to keep going far and take the freedmen to their rightful place, which is straight to the top. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the space. And BTP on deck, Freedmen on deck. I'm done.
Honors, brother. Honors. Go ahead, brother Grim.
Man, you know I'm not gonna be short. Nah, I'm just joking. Man, I appreciate being on here tonight. Because you know, bro, I get disillusioned a lot, man, with the freedmen people, and it ties into what OG Otis was saying, man. It's just so many distractions, and you know, and all y'all know in our private conversations, man, how I feel about a lot of this treacherous stuff, man. I mean, you know, a lot of this stuff is treacherous conspiracies committed against us, man, by our own people. And it's not just immigrants or anything like that, but some of people that have freedmen blood that's really, you know, coming at us. Just like we said, we had enemies on all sides. So, you know, with that, I just want to tell everybody that's in the chat that, you know, we need y'all help to basically get these educational shows out to people. So we ask y'all to like the videos. We ask y'all to share, you know, share it on your social media account, because, you know, I think that, and I've shared this as well, so I share this publicly. You know, I think that this channel basically, you know, has been shadow banned, so to speak, because the rhythm should be more and better, and it should be getting out there. But I believe it's been shadow banned because, you know, BTP, as you all know, has had too much influence in this space right now just to have like only 100 people watching live or so. So, you know, I'm just asking everybody to do their part and helping to get this information out by sharing and liking these videos, and tell your friends to subscribe to the channel. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, subscribe, click the bell to let people know, so that you can be informed when we come on live. I like to thank Sister Roz from gracing us with her presence. We appreciate it. You know, we need the feminine energy on this show, basically to balance things out. Because, you know, one of the things that people do when we speak against evil, and particularly when it's a female, they'll try to use the fact that it's 4 or 5 or 6 men speaking about, well, not necessarily the evil, but, you know, just wrong assertions or falsehood. You know, they try to use it, but you know, to have Sister Roz up here is a blessing, that, you know, she basically, you know, demonstrate those things, that we know that we're not alone in the whole thing of the aspect of them trying to use gender against us. And I appreciate you, Sister Roz, for coming on. And that's all I got to say, y'all. And I'm glad y'all enjoyed y'all Juneteenth, and let's keep it popping, y'all.
Indeed, indeed. Sister Ross.
All right, family. Thank you, Brother Grimm, for that. I appreciate y'all appreciate me, and I appreciate being here and being able to get inspired from sisters like Morgan, from brothers like Naeem, you, Brother Grimm, Brother Prime, Brother Ali. And I think that we need to make sure that we are keeping that fire going, because a lot of times it does get discouraging out here, and we see people doing things like cooning. Can I say that word, cooning? We see people
Yeah,
cooning. Can I say that, Naeem? But
I
we see
think
that all
so.
the time.
But
Yeah, okay.
YouTube is funny. Certain words they definitely flag, but I think
Oh,
we could
okay.
say
So, so,
Cooney.
so
I
maybe I ought
think.
to speak. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all another word, another language, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds so pretty, purdy. That sounds purdy." So we're gonna do something like that. But uh, they allow people to get up here, and even on social media, like we had a earlier in the week conversation about celebrity or pseudo or wannabe or halfway celebrities that get up there. If and we got to go into those kind of Twitter spaces in order to be able to reach our people. We should be able to reach our people with lessons and information that empower them. I think people need to understand that it's a huge difference between being inspired and understanding who you are than just being entertained all the time. I mean, we can't continue to be in a mindset of being entertained, and meanwhile, people are just coming in and picking out, they grabbing the fruit from our plates. So I want to basically encourage everybody, if you gotta fall back and take a breath, like my sister Kelly Pryor says, then do so. And also build with people that are going to feed your soul. Don't build with people that are going to tear you apart just for the sake of doing it, because you got to build with people that are going to feed your soul. And take a breath. Take a breath. And on that, I'm gonna take a breath. You all have a good night. Thank you, brothers. Be the
Oh,
power.
honest, sis, honest, honest. Hey, family. If you forgot to hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. As you can see, we spit that fire. We spit that fire over here. We deal with the facts. We are very, very thorough researchers. And as Sister Ross just said, we do not come on here to entertain people. Sometimes we have a little fun, etc., but it's still woven into the process of spitting that truth, spitting them facts, right? And that's what we strive to do, and we've been doing that. And yeah, I believe, like my brother Grimm said, I believe our channel has been shadow banned, but it's cool though. It only take a few people to ruffle a lot of feathers. So, it is what it is. It only take a few people to ruffle a lot of feathers. And the more we keep teaching, the more the word is going to get out. Already some things are happening, and if I can, because of some of the things that we were able to do here at Be the Power with our education. Again, if you are in the state of Georgia, um, I'm going to be putting a call out soon, so look forward to that. Hit me up on Twitter DMs if we're connected on Twitter, and just hit me up in general if you are watching from the state of Georgia. I'm going to be putting a call to action out against House Bill 932 and trying to garner up some support so that we could do a facial challenge to the gratuities clause in Georgia State's Constitution, which essentially blocks local equity programs, or what some would call reparations. I don't like to use the term reparations for state programs. I like, atonement or equity programs. But either way, Georgia makes it so that you Negroes ain't getting nothing. So you already know. So I'll leave y'all with the motto of the platform, and that is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. With that, I say peace.